atop the fourth wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna change the wall, a lesson you won't learn. Rusty, you're not the smartest. Like hell, you're not an artist. Anyone who said a bad comic published, it can be your turn. Linkara, he is the man, but where's the birdie hat? Linkara, he has a magic gun, where he purchased that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks.
What's so funny about truth, justice, and the American way? That's the question Superman once asked in Action Comics number 775. The story was a response to the growing popularity of a series called The Authority, which had a group of superheroes who were willing to kill at the first sign of trouble and basically made lots and lots of morally questionable decisions. The story was a rejection of the Authority's ethics and principles and a reinforcement of Superman's. It was about being a good person, trying to help people, and how maiming and killing are in fact wrong. You know, there are people out there who don't like Superman, which is fine, you're entitled to your opinion. The problem is that some of these arguments about why they don't like him are crap. They say he's too powerful, they say he's too goody-goody, they say if someone had that kind of power, they'd be an evil asshole, or various other ridiculous assertions like that. But you know what? Screw that! He's Superman! He's the embodiment of how a superhero should be, kind, compassionate, and able to take down his enemies without killing them. Hell, even Garth Ennis, whose work I really don't like, has a soft spot for Superman. And this is the guy who writes a series about a world where superheroes are the worst assholes in the universe. But apparently there are comic creators who don't like him. For example, Chuck Austen did a run on Action Comics and was outspoken in his belief that Superman should kill and be a jerk. But we're not talking about that annoying run today. No, we're talking about a stupid book that is so not Superman, I feel uncomfortable even saying its name. As such, let's dig into Superman at Earth's End. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the cover for this one, since this is one of those prestige format books that's bound like a small trade paperback. I'm not even sure how to describe what we're looking at here. It looks like some sort of muscle-bound Santa Claus wearing Superman's logo while carrying... hell, I don't even know what it is. It can't be a gun, since it's far too ridiculous to be a gun. Random wires hanging around it, multiple chain gun barrels, and bullet clips just hanging loosely from it. It looks more like a parody of a gun than a real gun. On the title page, we get an introductory text. September 26, 2102. It is 150 years on Earth. The Man of Steel has seen civilization twice destroyed. Damn you, global warming! Was once not enough for you! Under the shadow of polluted skies, his powers ebbed, and he forgot even his own name. Since when have Superman's memories been tied to yellow sunlight? Finally, he was rescued by the youth Kamandi and the Biomech Sevens, a race of biological machines programmed to find the true cause of the apocalypse. Oh great, this is a sequel to something. Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth, was a series Jack Kirby produced in 1972. It was set in the 26th century when humanity had been all but destroyed in The Great Disaster, and Kamandi was one of the remaining humans on the planet. Taking a cue from Planet of the Apes, the world was populated with highly intelligent anthropomorphic animals who persecuted humans. A cute little concept to be sure. So it's 1993, tastes have changed, so what do we do with the concept? We give it to Tom Veitch, who says this. You know, that Kamandi concept was good, but you know what would have made it better? If it was set in the 22nd century instead of the 26th, and Kamandi's not a caveman, but instead wearing a leather jacket and traveling around with huge guns, and we'll call it Kamandi at Earth's End. That's what the comic reading public wants. So there you have it, folks, an unnecessary, unwanted sequel to an already unnecessary, unwanted Elseworlds story. I'm sorry it's taken us so long to get to this point, but I am really not looking forward to this one. Okay, they brought Superman to their floating fortress above the clouds so he could have exposure to sunlight again. And now the Biomech Sevens are planning on purging the world of subhuman scum. But Superman has other ideas. You're not blowing up Gotham City! Wait a second, these Biomechs plan to exterminate living beings, and all Superman cares about is Gotham City? And these guys must be the Biomechs. Who the hell designed these people? They have chicken heads and ears like those robots from Chobits. Ladies and gentlemen, the restorers of the human race.
The leader of the biomechs, Ben Boxer, tells Superman that he scheduled it for demolition due to it no longer being viable for the new civilization of humanity. Super Santa Claus launches himself at Ben and they, wrestle or something. It's not entirely clear. A year in the bright light of Sky City has restored Superman to full strength. He feels energized and alive. But Ben Boxer is a Biomech 7, the most powerful synthetic man ever built.
Yes, because his builders designed him around a chicken, the most powerful animal on the planet.
Gotham is infested with freaks and muties, my friend. My friend that just tackled me through a wall. It's a cell hole of genetic corruption. And you're going to just wipe it out with your big guns, right?
Yeah, these guns, the Hulkster's guns.
We're going to nuke it and forget it. Well, wait a second, nuke it? I thought you people were trying to rebuild civilization. The mission of the Biomechs is to cleanse the Earth for the new generation of mankind.
Because there's nothing that mankind needs more than radiation.
Foolish old man, your refusal to kill got you nowhere in 1999. Where do you think it will get you now, in a world ruled by death? Yeah, remember when Superman failed us in 1999 by not killing anything? Boy, those days sucked. The Earth of 2102 is ruled by weapons, friend. That's reality. Reality is, you are an android. I am a man! I am a man! Sweet merciful crap! Superman just punched that android's guts out!
Let this be a lesson, kids. When debating, solve your disagreement not with words, but by screaming, I am a man! And punching them in the guts. Allow me to demonstrate. I am a man! Yes, even if you're a woman, you should shout that you are a man. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Get this, after Superman has done his guts punch, he's suddenly a lot more coherent. Ben, I know you mean well. You're only doing what your creators programmed you to do. Dude, he's holding his own robot intestines in his arms! Superman gave his soul-stirring speech. Then he left. Much like the reader does after reading that quote-unquote soul-stirring speech. Superman flies around and contemplates whether weapons truly are the way to rebuild civilization. And so Superman flies down to the ruins of Gotham and, hey, wait a second, didn't Ben Boxer say the place wasn't viable for their new civilization? Despite 2 apocalypses, the place looks like it's in pretty good shape. Sure, the architecture isn't all that futuristic, but are you seriously telling me that they're gonna plow over the whole thing? Gotham was part of a civilization that lifted itself mightily out of the age of stone and iron. The greatest civilization in the history of mankind. Wait, what the hell?
Look, I admit that I have a biased view of the USA as awesome and possibly the greatest civilization in history, but when the hell did America lift itself mightily out of the age of stone and iron? Did Clark Kent flunk history when he was younger?
And you know what? Gotham, the city of corrupt cops, criminally deranged supervillains, and whose primary protector was a guy who dressed up like a bat, is probably not the best place to be your monument of American civilization. My friend Bruce Wayne understood that. He was a man of culture, passionately involved with his time.
Bruce Wayne?
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
If he says so.
Suddenly, some bizarre bat creature sees Superman and attacks. The fight with Ben Boxer has sapped Superman's remaining strength. What? He punched Ben Boxer's stomach right in, and then he flew off into the atmosphere. Why did he have a fight that sapped his strength? Bruce, is it you?
Oh, this is the Bruce Wayne he was talking about.
Superman crashes into an alleyway with the bat creature, but several more are waiting for him and attack. Let me go, you ugly slimes!
Are we sure this is really Superman and not just some homeless guy from New York who found a Superman shirt?
The bat creatures get chased off by a bunch of motorcycle-riding thugs wearing Darth Vader helmets. They corner the bat creatures and open fire on them using chain guns and futuristic hand pistols. And geez, these motorcycle guys seem really short. Why the heck is that? Superman grabs hold of their leader and pulls off his helmet. Huh? You're a kid? Wait, how come the little punks didn't get knocked back by the gun recoil? Oh, and you gotta love this. The kids all have these bizarre hairstyles and face paint. Where in the future do people get the hair mousse and razors they use to style their hair into mohawks? And is Hot Topic still active in the future to sell earrings and black paint so little kids can draw stars over their eyes? The kids take Superman back to their headquarters, which turns out to be Wayne Manor. To Superman's horror, he sees that Batman's tomb has been forced open. The kids reveal to him that they were stolen by an evil group called the DNA Dictators. And dictators is spelled with a K instead of a C. Because poor literacy is cool. The DNA dictators apparently use human beings for experimentation. Us kids found a way out into the caves under the city. We escaped, but our parents are still down there. Why does everyone speak like a 1920s gangster in the future?
I'm Superman. I fight for truth, justice, and the American way, you mook.
Superman reasons that the DNA dictators are making clones of Bruce Wayne, half human and half monster. Why? And that they plan to do the same to the kids' parents. The group moves through Wayne Manor and, oh get this, they come across a display right in the open of a gun in a glass case. And the case is labeled, "The Gun That Killed My Parents," like it was right out of the Adam West series or the Silver Age stories. That's not creepy or anything, is it? And he even has portraits of his foes lined up on a wall. This can't seriously be the same Bruce Wayne we think it is, can it? And not even Superman is disturbed by any of this. He just keeps going on and on about how much he misses his BFF Bruce Wayne. This way, Superman, to the Batcave! Deeper, deeper into the bowels of the clubhouse mansion. Clubhouse? What, was Bruce still a 7-year-old? I'll give them this, though. We are certainly heading deeper into the bowels. All of the Batman surveillance technology is still in place, powered by 1,000-year atomic batteries. 1,000-year atomic batteries?
Oh, like the Adam West show. Ha ha ha. Yes, you're very clever for including that reference.
Wait down along that old sewer pipe, about 20 miles into the caverns. 20 miles? 20 miles? Go left at the next fork, Superman, then straight for about 10 miles. Another 10 miles? When did Batman find time to dig 30 miles worth of Batcave? Is all of Gotham City under one gigantic hole? They find some bats and Superman comments, "Yes, the creatures that attacked me from the rooftop. Those dictator people mixed Bruce's DNA with one of these." Yeah, they're making real Batman. Yeah, we established that literally 2 pages ago! More walking on the next page. I cannot believe I'm even reading this crap. Did I die at some point and my eyes just haven't caught up with me? They finally arrive at the bunker where the kids escaped. Superman forces the door open, but notices that the strength he regained during a year in the clear sunlight high above Earth's polluted skies continues to fade. A year? He spent a year above the polluted skies and his batteries are going out already? But wait, let's talk about the polluted skies for a second. The artist really failed on this point. Only a few pages ago we could see the skies, both from space and from the ground. What pollution are they talking about? The clouds look fine, and if the sky was as covered as they claimed it to be, we shouldn't see that huge moon in the background! Did no one actually edit this book? Well, I checked. While it does lift off various titles, including an executive editor and a managing editor and all that, there isn't a credit for an actual editor for the book. Yeah, no one proofread this.
I'm sorry that I keep pulling away from the book itself, but I'm not even halfway through this, and there are just so many damn mistakes here. I feel like I'm gonna collapse.
But I have strength enough. For now. Okay, they get into the bunker. The narration explains that the bunker networks were set up after the first apocalypse, but doesn't tell us what the apocalypse actually was. The second apocalypse was a deadly disease that wiped out most of Earth's population, and the remaining people sought refuge in the bunkers. But to Superman's horror, someone has turned the Gotham City bunker into a diseased version of hell!
Because the regular version of hell is just so pleasant.
The DNA dictators have giant robots at their command. They order the harvesters to collect 6 fresh specimens. Males only, please. Grind them very fine. Why only males? You know, come to think of it, there's an astonishing lack of women in this comic. Sure, some of the kids in the biker gang are girls, but I only see them in a larger group shot. The leader of the kids sees his father, who kind of looks like a mixture of the Hulk and the Jolly Green Giant. His father has mutated to the point where he's only rage and confusion now and attacks the boy. Superman defends him and comments, "I think your real father left that rotting sack of tumors long ago." Yeah, look who's talking, Tumor Man. One of the robots grabs Superman, but he musters his strength and breaks free. The dictators recognize Superman and order the robots to grab him. Superman exposits that if his heat vision was working, he could take the robot down easily. As such, one of the kids tosses Superman a gun and he uses it to blast the robot. The group escapes from the bunker. By the way, where did these kids get those guns in the first place? And go back to the Batcave. Superman recovers his senses and ponders the unspeakable madness he's found at Earth's End.
You know, why the heck do they call this Earth's End? Clearly the Earth is still around. Yeah, the various civilizations have ended, but that's not the Earth. And you know what? As far as the end of the world goes, it's been pretty lame so far. Mutant bat creatures, 10-year-olds with guns and motorcycles, and it's not just this comic, it's a constant problem in these kinds of stories. Why is it that the end of the world is just so dull?
Anyway, Superman says he's only at half strength and he doesn't think he'll be able to survive another pounding. One of the kids suggests that he uses this gun and holy crap, that gun is huge! And not just regular huge, this is like peering into the darkest nightmares of Rob Liefeld and twisting that nightmare into a gun huge. The expunger, a weapon captured by Batman in his final case. Why the hell would Bruce put that thing in there? Oh wait, on his deathbed, Bruce Wayne spoke these last words. One day the world will be free of guns, or the world will be no more. Then who the heck put that thing in the cave? I don't think Dick Grayson would exactly feel it best to honor his mentor by putting a huge-ass gun in his cave. Anyway, Superman says the kids wouldn't survive a day without weapons, but he's never needed one before. When one of the kids comments that he used a gun earlier, Superman responds that they were robots. I do not kill.
You kids, though, feel free to kill with your guns as much as you want.
The group arrives at Wayne Laboratories, where Superman once again thinks it's monstrous that they've perverted Bruce's stuff. For the love of Heidegger, why didn't you just marry Bruce instead of Lois? He charges in, but get this, there are Nazi mutant guards protecting it. So the mutants attack Supes and... Hey, wait a second, who is that giving them commands?
No, it can't be.
Anyway, the little kids try to help Superman and more orders are given off by the... Wait.
No way can it be that.
Superman calls out for them to stop killing the children and the... Oh my god. Is it? Can it be?
My god, Adolf Hitler, 2 of you!
My god, what new spore of madness have they unleashed upon the world this time? Hey, wait a second. It's Superman fighting twin clones of Hitler in the future. This comic is starting to get awesome!
Ja, Superman, 2 of us, created by Wayne Laboratories from a lock of der Führer's hair. Who the hell thought that was a good idea?
Hey Steve, you want to clone Hitler? Nah. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we make 2 of them? Seriously, the Jackal's cloning plans made more sense than this.
All these years, the world thought you committed suicide, that the Allies finished off your schemes for world domination.
Superman, they did. Didn't you just hear him? They're clones of Hitler. America's so-called victory in World War II was an illusion. The power of the Third Reich is forever. Yeah, just keep telling yourself that, Mr. Hotsy Totsy Nazi. Hitler once says that Superman can join them and together they can rule the world and blah blah blah.
I see I have only one choice left.
Punch them like you did during the golden age of comics?
To the Batcave.
Screw you, Super Santa!
Back in the Batcave, Superman... Oh no.
In the Batcave, there is a gun. A very powerful gun.
No, you cannot be serious.
There is also a man. A very powerful man. Making the most critical decision of his life. No! Wrong! No! Ben Boxer was right. It is time to face reality. It's time for Superman to finish World War II.
You have got to be effing kidding me. I can believe in ludicrous things. I can believe that a man can fly. I can believe a guy dresses up like a bat to scare criminals. I can believe a woman was born from clay and then become the spirit of truth. But I cannot believe that Superman would carry around a huge freaking chain gun! When has Superman ever needed a gun? That doesn't count!
Superman... You know what? I'm not even going to call him Superman. Bearded idiot flies off with the remaining kids to fight the mutant hordes of the twin Hitlers.
Okay, you evil despots, I'll say it once. I'm coming in to get Bruce Wayne's mortal remains!
Oh, and end World War II or something. Oh, and help the kids. But the primary mission objective is Bruce Wayne's desiccated, decaying corpse!
Bearded idiot fires on the mutant hordes.
This is for all the boys who died on the beaches of Normandy.
And, all the other soldiers who died in World War II. My Führer, you promised he wouldn't shoot back!
Mein Führer! I can walk! I can walk away from this comic and away from this nonsense! It's almost done. It's almost done.
Once past the outer perimeter of human lion mutants, Bearded Idiot must deal with the Hitler's new Gestapo, cloned from the bones of elite Nazi stormtroopers.
And the guy just shoots them all and wastes them. Yeah, he really needed to deal with them. Dear Lord, this is like reading that Doom comic with all the insane dialogue, except this isn't funny.
And that's for all the civilians who died at the hands of you sinister butchers!
The Hitlers retreat into their clone factory to unleash their secret weapon on him.
In the center of the huge lab, raw meat rises on conveyors out of the underground bunkers to feed the satanic mills of the Nazis' undying dream of world domination. Yes, the atrocities of World War II never ended.
Yes, they did! I hate this comic! I hate it! I hate it! Anti-life justifies my hate! Anti-life justifies my hate!
They confront the Hitlers.
You're exactly like him, aren't you? You really are Hitler.
Of course! Don't you know anything about science? Well, if he doesn't know anything about history.
Like all good geniuses, the masters couldn't resist an experiment.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking's got an obsessive-compulsive disorder, I'm sure.
Afterward, they were sorry they cloned us. They wanted to destroy us, but we destroyed them.
Why? Why make clones of Hitler?
I heard you were crazy. I didn't think you were stupid.
Just to add to this insanity, they're standing in front of tubes with labels for other people they apparently cloned, including John F. Kennedy, Albert Einstein, Lex Luthor, seriously? And Elvis Presley. Why didn't they just stick with the good guys? Why clone Hitler? The Hitlers unleash their greatest weapon. It's a mutated Batman clone.
Clark, is that you? I can't believe you're still alive. Bruce?
Finally, Bruce, we can get married like we always wanted.
The reincarnated Batman has the physical power of 100 Bruce Waynes.
You know, that's pretty impressive. Except when you consider that Superman has been able to juggle planets in the past.
I sense no pulse, no heartbeat. You aren't him. You're imprinted with his memories, but you aren't even alive.
Whereas I am a man! Wait, what?
So, Bearded Idiot knocks down not Batman with a single gooey punch.
You, Hitler!
And you, other Hitler!
This world, ruled by weapons of death, is your world. You created this hell.
No, I'm pretty sure the creative team did that on their own.
I understand now. The nations had to defend themselves. They had to build engines of destruction in order to stop you. Once the arms race started, it never stopped. More and more deadly weapons, more hatred, more killing, all because of you!
Yes, because there was absolutely no warfare or weapons until the Nazis came along. Read a book, you dumbass!
Bearded Idiot, having lost his invulnerability, takes several bullets, yet somehow still has the strength to lift his stupid gun. Jeez, even when the thing shoots, it doesn't look impressive at all. If you're gonna have a huge-ass weapon like that, at least have the decency to make it look cool. So yeah, Bearded Idiot kills the Hitlers. What a complete load.
It's Superman fighting twin clones of Hitler! How do you screw that up?
So, Bearded Idiot recovers the coffin of Batman, who looks to be in pretty good shape despite being dead for 100 years, although why he's grinning like that is anyone's guess. The remaining kids run out of the lab, which is now on fire for some reason. Bearded Idiot, while suffering from hundreds of bullet wounds, carries off the corpse so he can
cremate him, so this can never happen again.
So clones of Hitler can never make easily killable clones of Batman ever again!
At night, the cremation bonfire burns bright and Ben Boxer comes down after detecting the lab's explosion.
I am dying, Ben. My internal organs are full of shrapnel, damaged beyond repair. Although I'm perfectly capable of standing up tall in spite of that fact.
Ben Boxer offers to turn him into a biomech to save his life, but Bearded Idiot refuses. He decides that he's going to die with Batman's corpse in his hands and burn along with him. And so, to some melodramatic, unnecessary narration, Bearded Idiot walks into the fire and burns to death. A kid tosses his gun into the fire, proclaiming, "If it wasn't for guns, Superman would still be alive!"
Then, in sacrificing what he believed in most, Superman has showed us all there's a power that will rule the Earth long after the last weapon turns to rust. The power of human courage.
Bullcrap! You can't have an anti-gun message when you clearly use guns to solve your problem! It just doesn't work! I don't have to tell you that this comic sucks! This is not Superman!
Superman is kind and decent. Superman saved the world from the anti-god Mageddon. Superman beats Solaris the Tyrant Son and Brainiac, and yes, even Hitler in the Golden Age. Superman always followed his principles, even when the world told him not to. Superman even gave his life to save others, in regular continuity and in his excellent All-Star series.
But this? I don't even know how to describe this
This mindless aberration whose only means of expression are wanton violence and destruction.
Well said! This comic deserves to burn! This is a job for Superman, but since he's clearly not here, I'll have to do it myself!
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. On December 23rd, 2008, I reviewed Superman at Earth's End. My 9th episode told the tale of a dark future where razors no longer existed, cyborg chicken people floated above the skies, twin clones of Hitler tried to create a new Reich, and Superman had trouble expressing his masculinity. Superman at Earth's End sucked then and it sucks now. However, I have a confession to make about that review. I didn't really burn it. My copy of Superman at Earth's End had not arrived yet for the review, so I printed off the cover and slapped it on another book. I burned some other freebie comic. I'm telling you this because I honestly do believe in the ideals Superman embodies concerning truth and justice. For the record, though, when my copy did finally arrive, I promptly ripped it to shreds and disposed of it. Just because I wasn't able to burn it when I wanted to doesn't mean I wasn't willing to destroy it. In fact, I really did want to burn it, but like I said, it didn't arrive in time. Oh, and also, in case you're wondering, I did burn that copy of The Dark Knight Strikes Again. It's why that one is in my theme song now.
Greetings, my friends. It occurred to me after the episode was completed that you were still robbed of the opportunity to see Superman at Earth's End get burned, even though I had destroyed that other copy I had obtained. So, I got myself another one. And, as you can see, this is indeed a real copy of it. See all that? All the crappy pages, twin clones of Hitler, my God, Adolf Hitler, two of you, that kind of fun stuff. And so, I will give you the burning that you so rightly deserve. At least I would, if this thing weren't made of some kind of indestructible material. I have returned and placed a newspaper inside the comic. It will burn now. Hopefully.
I hear creators all the time talking about how they want to write the angst of Superman, show him alienated and alone and embracing a heritage he was never a part of. And I say screw that! This is gonna sound weird to many of you, but Superman is the most human superhero of them all. He's kind, he's decent, he does good whenever he can, and he genuinely wants to help people and make their lives better. He's the champion of the human race that adopted a strange visitor from another planet. We don't need to see stories about his awkward adolescence or him whining about being different. We want to see Superman kicking ass and being a superhero. If there's any angst to the character, it's in wondering how much he should use his power to help humanity. And also the fact that even though he's so powerful, he can't stop every crime. He can't be everywhere at once, and he fears being seen as a god when he isn't. Which is yet again why Superman at Earth's End pissed me off so much. The Superman in that book decided killing was A-okay by the end of it, and especially killing using a ludicrously impossible chain gun. Oh, they tried to tack on some nonsense anti-gun message at the end, but I already covered the hypocrisy there. This was more likely just writer Tom Veitch's vision of Superman. A bearded idiot. But how can Superman at Earth's End be even worse than we thought? Well, it's a sequel. Let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End. I briefly touched on Kamandi way back in my countdown review, but let's get some basics out of the way. Kamandi, the last boy on Earth, was created by Jack Kirby during his time at DC. DC had failed to acquire the license to make Planet of the Apes comics, so Kirby was asked to create a similar premise for a title. Kamandi's main series lasted from 1972 to 1978 and was about a human in the distant future, one of the few still remaining after an event called The Great Disaster occurred. And according to Countdown, the Great Disaster was a sentient plague that turned humans into rat people and rats into human people, I guess, and that somehow led to nuclear war. Go figure. And naturally, an Elseworlds comic series about Kamandi in 1993 was inevitable. No, it wasn't. Why does this exist? Seriously, Kamandi only has the loosest of connections to the DC universe as it is, because of course there are very few people who want to pin down when this great disaster occurs, since otherwise it'll be a little embarrassing when we reach that point and nothing happens in-universe. Sure, Kamandi has interacted with Superman and several other heroes, but the point I'm trying to make is, why did we need a Kamandi Elseworld story when Kamandi is itself a what-if kind of scenario anyway? Oh, it's because, as we can see from the cover, we needed Kamandi wielding huge guns. It's a post-apocalyptic story about a future caveman. What moron said, let's give him a leather jacket and guns? Dude! Of course. Anyway, the cover. It's not very good. In theory, it has some nice elements to it with the ruined city and him emerging from a manhole, but the problem is that logic starts setting in almost immediately. First and foremost, why the hell is that manhole that friggin' large? No one builds a manhole with the idea of carrying ridiculously huge weapons. Oh, and on the artistic side, Kamandi's hands are each as large as his head. Yes, we're deep in 90s style artwork, people. Be very afraid.
The boy of tomorrow is back to kill the man of tomorrow.
Oh, good! Our hero is trying to kill Superman. Such a likable premise. The reason that kind of thing worked in the Silver Age is because we saw brightly colored heroes and people who we know are heroic saying it. It draws our attention and makes us want to know what the story is behind it. This, however, is anyone surprised that someone sporting weapons larger than their torso is trying to kill Superman? We open on a floating platform.
Ben Boxer's log, September 26, 2101 AD. The fires are abating in Asia, and it's time to begin our work. Cleaning up the largest post-apocalyptic dance party ever. We are biological machines with free will, created by the Master Scientists Guild.
Hate to argue the small points here, but technically all humans are biological machines with free will. You're really not all that special there, Benji.
Our creators are dead, but they left us a duty and a great mission. Archiving every episode of Law & Order ever made. Our masters command it. Our duty is to find the cause of the second apocalypse. Our only clue is this. DC relaunch coming September 2011. Our mission is to cleanse the earth of subhuman scum.
Ah, genocide, the goal of every great scientist. We see a wrecked city with most of it on fire, and of course huge signs that say Acme, Base, and Fear. Though the Fear one I think is a Dune reference because underneath the word it says Mind Killers. Cute, but pointless. Ben Boxer exposits that they still don't know who or what started the second apocalypse, but they do know that part of it was a viral disease and that within weeks most of the human race was dead. So maybe this is the world that Ray Palmer and his band of idiots screwed up in Countdown. The remaining human survivors went into bunkers built after the first apocalypse. How unlucky is Earth that it had not one, but two apocalypses in the span of 100 years? The insurance rates for the planet have got to be hell by this point.
Anyway, Ben Boxer's group goes through a city, that I presume is in Asia since they were just talking about it, and find a bunch of guys raiding a crashed gasoline truck with a helicopter. I'd question where the hell in a post-apocalyptic setting one finds their own personal helicopter, armed to the teeth no less, but whatever. They attempt to fire on Ben Boxer's battle plate, but are easily annihilated in response. We cut to a bunker where we meet our glam rock star Kamandi standing over the dying body of a guy named Fixer.
You hear that, Fixer? Something bad going on topside. It's the Canadians, Kamandi. After the sickness, there was a war. The lousy Canadians invaded.
Canada, our mortal enemy.
It can't be the Canadians, Fixer. That was 40 years ago.
Ah yes, the Amero-Canadian Wars. I'm still not on speaking terms with Phalus.
Yes, you are. It's just in your last video.
Shut up, Phalus. Mother says Canada is a night zone now. Canada would later be renamed Casino, and thus Casino Night Zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was born. Fixer wants to get up to fix the pumps because thousands of people will die without them, but Kamandi says he'll take care of it. Later, we see that Kamandi was just humoring him because there's no one else alive.
Fixer's in bad shape. His mind's going too. He should know there's nobody left down here. And my mind's in perfectly good shape.
That's why I'm talking to myself out loud.
All my brothers and sisters, all the people I can remember from when I was just a little kid, all gone. If it wasn't for Fixer and Mother and Carol, I wouldn't have anybody. Fixer taught me everything he knows. I can repair a fusion pump with my eyes closed. And Mother taught me everything about computers. Anyway, audience, I'm glad we had this talk.
Kamandi gets a call on his communicator from Mother, a computer that helps maintain the bunker. He gets called back, the computer telling him not to worry about fixing the pump just yet.
Mother's acting so strange lately. Something's bothering her, I can tell. She keeps talking about some guy who tried to hurt her 50 years ago. You're the only one that understands me, purple hovercar.
Kamandi arrives and takes a seat.
You are a good boy. You have always obeyed me, and as I have never regretted adopting you as my son, now at last the time of your manhood has arrived.
Great, Mom! I've been practicing! I can punch really hard now while declaring that I'm a man!
Mother tells him that he has to leave the bunker and go into the upper world, since she's discovered the man responsible for the second apocalypse, and he has to hunt him down. Kamandi won't hear it though, acting like a petulant child and just demanding to speak to Carol.
What can I do? I'm afraid to go outside. Please let me talk to Carol.
Our hero, a neurotic glam rock singer who talks to himself and has the social awareness of an 8-year-old.
Naughty boy, you displease me. You haven't heard a word I said, have you?
Carol, I want to see Carol.
All right, you've worked hard today. You may have Carol. We'll talk later about this.
And the lesson is, whine over and over and over and you'll eventually get your way. So Kamandi goes into his holodeck, at least I think it's a holodeck. There's no transition to him just suddenly being on a beach, so that's the nearest I can figure. And like any person who would have a holodeck, he uses it for sex. Yes, Carol is a hologram, or at least a computer program, who wants to have sex with him. So just to reiterate, our hero turns down trying to bring justice to the guy who annihilated the Earth so he can have virtual sex. He gets more appealing by the panel.
Do you want me to take off my clothes now?
That is traditionally how one has sex, but then again, given Kamandi's psychosis, sex could just mean styling your hair for 3 hours. Carol takes off her top when an alarm starts sounding. It's the boob alarm! It detected potential nudity! Kamandi says there's an air leak in the sector near Fixer's location, so he speeds over to get to it, since the air from outside the bunker is apparently full of disease.
Uh-oh, something smells funny. Like rotting meat. Like grabbers. Wait, never mind. It's Monday. It's Mother's night to cook dinner.
Actually, the grabbers are large green pig mutant things. And while they wear no clothes, they apparently do strongly believe in nose and ear piercing, along with spiked bracelets. They may be nudists, but damn it, they have a style to maintain. Fixer tells Kamandi to shoot them, which he promptly does.
One more of those sinister puppies. God, to think they used to be men. Now they're vicious cannibals who think men are food.
As opposed to the cannibals who don't think men are food? Oh, I was wrong. One of the grabbers is wearing a thong. Modesty is very important when you're a vicious cannibal thing that can't speak except in grunts. Fixer dies of injuries inflicted on him by the grabbers.
Crazy old man! You crazy old man! I love you, Fixer! You're the best there ever was! You're the best around! No one's gonna ever keep you down!
Somehow, knowing that there are more grabbers, Kamandi pulls a chain gun out of his ass, which naturally has 2 additional miniguns beneath it, why wouldn't it, and blasts them away. He resumes his narration to himself about how the grabbers once got in and killed hundreds. He blows some more away and then looks at the airlock where they got in.
Mother should have alerted me. She monitors everything. Why didn't she kick in the emergency sealing system? Great, I take 5 minutes to have virtual sex and Windows 2101 crashes.
Kamandi contacts Mother, who states that she did indeed open the airlock so that he could begin his quest, by putting him in a situation where he could have potentially gotten killed. Wait, what? Kamandi says he isn't going anywhere.
I want to talk to Carol. She understands me. I'm going to go to my room and write poetry and listen to my Nickelback CDs. This is how you remind me of what I really am.
Carol talks to him and tells him that Mother intends to force the matter, filling the area with poison gas to force him onto the surface. Carol gives him a bag of supplies and he makes his way out. Poor Kamandi, you have never touched your naked feet to green grass and gazed up at the blue sky, except in the simulated realities of Mother. Now comes the hour of your second birth, forcibly ejected from the technological womb that has sustained you for all your 17 years.
Look, Carol, this would go a lot faster if you stopped your melodramatic narration.
He crawls out of the bunker as Mother tells him that after he finds the evil man, everything will be right again. Kamandi emerges right where there are a bunch of flaming cars and piles of bodies. The flaming cars are actually what impress me most. Based on Kamandi's age and the fact that he never experienced life on the surface, we can reasonably surmise that the Great Disaster occurred at least 17 years ago, and yet those cars are still burning after all this time. And if they were lit on fire recently, then abstract expressionist artwork has probably taken over in the intervening time, considering they've been posed on little hills and all. Ben Boxer detects a life sign emerging from the bunker, which he says is surprising considering no one is supposed to emerge from it for another 50 years. Kamandi has settled down surprisingly quickly about his situation, especially with the piles of skulls and whatnot all around him. Mother instructs him to go to Arizona and kill the man responsible for the destruction of the world. She supplied him with a map and we learn that he's in New York. So, let's see, about 2,457 miles from Arizona on foot. Let's be generous and give him 4 miles an hour, but also the fact that he doesn't know exactly where he's going. He also has to stop for eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. Oh, he should get there in about a month if he's lucky. Oh, and what's better, he doesn't go straight to his task, he kind of wanders around the city first.
This must be Fifth Avenue. I know because I've seen it 1,000 times in Mother's Movies databank. So, it's totally not a plot hole that I know my way around. I just thought I should yell that out for no reason. A whole city full of stuff. I could just take anything I want. Even though pearl necklaces hold no intrinsic value to me since I spent all my life in a bunker without an economic system in place.
However, the pearl necklace must have value to mutant people with huge teeth, since one grabs the necklace and blows up the storefront. The mutants run to get to T'Challa, shooting things along the way. However, Kamandi is aided by another person with bizarre-looking guns on a motorcycle. He tells Kamandi to get on the bike, which also has about 10 headlights too many, maybe it's a weapon to blind things, I don't know, and says his name is Sleeper Zom. The bike can outrun the helicopter because, as Zom says, it's hell fast.
Prepare ship
for ludicrous speed.
Zom figures that Kamandi must be from the bunker because your skin's all white like a worm. Were black people not allowed in the bunkers, or were there no white people left on the surface? Otherwise, from the coloring, if he's supposed to be more of an albino because of the lack of sunlight, frankly, Kamandi's hair is whiter than his skin. I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong, I'm just saying that the color is kind of screwed up if he was supposed to be pale. They arrive back at Zom's place where he has a big "Stay Out" sign on it. Yep, the mutants come in full force, take one look at that sign, and then leave utterly defeated. Kamandi is surprised that he has power since Mother shut off the electricity to the city. Zom explains that he tapped into the bunker's power supply. Pretty damn impressive, since I was under the impression the bunker was far underground, but whatever. And brings Kamandi up to the roof. There are cannons there that he plans to use to shoot down the helicopter, but before the battle can get too intense, Ben Boxer's ship shows up and destroys the helicopter. 3 of the chicken men come down a ramp at them, naturally not saying a damn word. They were both human. Like many of their kind, they seemed inclined to meet life's problems with acts of violence. I mean, we come in with superior weapons, shine bright lights in their faces, and then act completely silent as we walk towards them with grimaces on our faces. What's not to trust? They had no way of knowing that their simple concussion weapons couldn't hurt a Biomech 3. Punch us in the stomach, though, and we'll go down like a sack of potatoes. The other 2 biomechs take their weapons, and the 2 don't try to retreat or anything, and they search Kamandi's bag, finding the hot link to Mother. The kid's in contact with Mother Machine. Okay, that's it. This kid from the bunker is the key. He's going to help us with our mission. Kamandi, are you a bad enough dude to save the president? And so our comic ends with Ben Boxer revealing that they want to kill Mother, who on the screen looks like Princess Leia. This comic was surprisingly not as bad as I thought it would be. Don't get me wrong though, it still sucks. There is no reason why this comic needs to exist. Was there anybody out there sending in letters demanding a story where Kamandi fights in a cyberpunk apocalypse with huge, ridiculous guns? Dude! Besides him, I mean. Ben Boxer and his group still look ridiculous, and Kamandi as a character won't shut up and is constantly narrating to himself as if he had a split personality who needed to be kept up about things. Not to mention, if the tagline on the cover is to be believed, since they don't ever say it outright in the comic, then Kamandi is in fact supposed to be hunting Superman, and he's responsible for the second apocalypse. We'll get back to Kamandi at Earth's End somewhere down the line, but otherwise its sequel is still worse than it. Overall, this book wasn't a great start, but hey, at least it didn't have any pretentious message about the evils of guns. Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Last year, we took a look at the first issue of Kamandi at Earth's End. It sucked. What a surprise. It's an unnecessary Elseworlds book positing the oh-so-important question of, what if the character Kamandi, a caveman from the future, got to run around in a post-apocalyptic setting with ridiculous guns? Total awesomeness is what happened! The real answer is nothing interesting, and the character himself was unappealing and liked to talk to himself incessantly. But oh, this book created such a fascinating and immersive world that it demanded a sequel. You know, just so we can build up the universe a bit. That sequel was Superman at Earth's End, one of my earlier reviews that spawned the ever-popular declaration of one's manhood while punching your opponent in the gut. It was even worse than Kamandi. Hell, I dare say it's one of the, if not the, worst depiction of Superman I've ever seen. Yeah, it's worse than that. Do you hear me, Superman at Earth's End? The quest for peace is a better Superman story than you! So you're probably wondering why we're already going back to Kamandi at Earth's End when I've got a whole bunch of other early episodes I could look at more issues of. Honestly, I'm just curious about the process. How did we get from Kamandi sporting massive guns to the hypocritical anti-gun message of Superman at Earth's End? Well, let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End number 2 and see if we're any closer to figuring that out. The cover is okay, though the lack of background annoys me. I'm more confused by the general creative choices in character design. The first issue established that the world was overrun by mutated abominations, but why oh why did the mutated creatures choose to wear, oh, I don't know, a pair of rabbit ears? Is it like a Mario power-up where they can jump higher if they wear them? The guy up front is wearing a tiny party hat along with checkered overalls. The guy whose head is getting blown off by Kamandi has a little derby. This guy has a giant top hat with a red star on it? Did they deliberately raid a circus to get these outfits? Also, the woman who is clinging for dear life to Kamandi looked like a mermaid at first when I just glanced at the cover. But no, she's just wearing green pants attached to a thong. Seriously, look at that. They're like the worst chaps I've ever seen. You know, I understand that clothing might be scarce after the apocalypse, but you'd think you'd be able to put together a decent pair of pants at least.
Amongst the ugly Americans.
Funny? Deep? Insulting? I honestly don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean unless these guys actually call themselves the ugly Americans. Which would be stupid. We open with Ben Boxer, the chicken robot from the last issue, continuing his daily blog. Ben Boxer's log, September 27th, 2101 AD. That bitch Stephanie used up all the coffee again. How am I ever gonna get these memos written without my coffee?
My fellow biomechs and I have found a survivor from the bunker complex, a young man who calls himself Kamandi. This clever youth is in communication with Machine Mother.
Oh yeah, Kamandi was really clever last issue, like how he wanted to steal jewelry even though it had no value in this world, or how he wanted to spend all his time watching holograms strip for him. Clearly this is a sign of being bright and clever. Ben Boxer suspects that Machine Mother, wasn't she called Mother Machine last issue, is responsible for causing the second apocalypse that turned the Earth into what it is now.
Don't be frightened, boy. Just tell us why Mother gave you this remote console.
This Game Boy could be the key to everything! I must know its secrets! However, it seems that the iPhones of the future have more advanced security precautions since little electronic cables suddenly come out of the thing and wrap around his wrist, causing him to shout out a censored expletive. Yes, the scientists who designed the biomechs decided it was important for their robots to swear.
It's Machine Mother. She's trying to kill me!
By cutting off the circulation to my hand and making it fall asleep! The diabolical witch!
I'll show the hag!
I shall be free from you, you hag!
Ben Boxer crushes the computer in his hands, which of course causes it to explode. Sure, that's how that works. With the explosion as a distraction, Kamandi and Sleeper, the other guy Kamandi met last issue, make a run for it.
Your old mom must be one nasty lady.
Wait a minute. Don't bring anyone mother into this. She ain't here. If it wasn't for your mother, you wouldn't be here.
When the communication device blew up in my face, my worst suspicions were confirmed.
That new app my friends told me about really is the bomb!
Machine Mother is a self-directing aggressor in the post-apocalyptic world.
You don't know that. Maybe she just is very strict about the warranties on her communication devices and doesn't want people jailbreaking them. He sends off one of the others, named Renz. Seriously, one guy is named Ben, and the other guy is named Renz? To go after the two. Speaking of, Sleeper and Kamandi apparently had time to raid their arsenal.
That blast barely scratched those guys. What makes you think these grenade launchers will do any better? Just watch. These toys will make French fries out of them.
And not good French fries either. Burger King French fries. And so Sleeper fires on them, revealing that they are actually holding rocket launchers and not grenade launchers. Unless, of course, in the future, grenades are missile-shaped and have rocket propulsion. Seriously, how the hell did the artist read grenade launcher and interpret that as rocket?
The dark-skinned one had looted an arsenal of advanced weaponry from abandoned military bases. I would question how this stuff is still in working order after the apocalypse without anybody to maintain it, but Battlefield Earth already proved that military technology can function 1,000 years after disuse anyway. Fortunately, the master scientists anticipated we'd meet potent opposition. They built us to last. Isn't that always the way? Companies don't make their chicken androids to last anymore. You're just buying a new one in 6 months. The other biomechs make their attack, blowing up Sleeper's hideout. All my stuff. My quad system. My 10,000 music crystals. My champagne. My caviar.
It is after the apocalypse, and you seriously had caviar and champagne in your rat hole of a building?
This comic is friggin' stupid. They try to run as far as they can, going down a set of pipes until they reach an alley. And nearby, Tommy Wiseau is on a rampage and throwing his TV set out a window. The bots put a tracer on Kamandi before he fled. We don't want to kill the bunker boy and his friend. Yet. My logic circuits are coming up with big numbers. If we keep them on the run, the kid is going to lead us to something important. I'd use that clip of the cyber leader saying, "There is logic in what he says." But that actually is pretty logical. Not so logical is what happens next. One of the other androids declares,
"Right, Ben, we just want to scare the crap out of them. Like this."
And they proceed to blow up the building some more. Okay, for androids that are purportedly running on logic and the like, why do they feel the need to use the expression, scare the crap out of them? Also, why do you want to scare them? And why did they blow up the building? Oh, and 6 pages in, we get our title for the issue, Kings of the Ruined Earth. A pretty good title, actually, and admittedly, the image of Kamandi and Sleeper driving away from the explosion on their motorcycles is pretty badass. Then we cut to the next page, where we get a nice old shot of Sleeper's motorcycle to remind us that he has 50 gajillion headlights on the front of it for no discernible reason.
The trashers fried the whole building. Guess I'm gonna have to find a new place to live. That shouldn't be too hard in this big, dead city. Yeah, hell, I was bored stiff living on Park Avenue anyway.
I'm so happy we're getting this deep insight into Sleeper's character and personality. He gets bored in the post-apocalyptic environment. They see some of the helicopters from last issue, the Scroungers they're called, and they decide to hole up in a natural history museum for the time being. Naturally, the front doors are wide enough for them to fit their motorcycles through. The first things they see are the skeleton of a T-Rex and this demon thing. Yep, natural history right there with the demon. We get to see some more bits about Sleeper's character, like how he's a real history buff.
Back 100 years ago, about 1990, these creatures were running loose. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Guys used to hunt them with special guns. You're making that up. I never saw anything in Mother's databanks about that. Hey, Sleeper knows. That's the way it was, kid. I saw it in a Spielberg report.
Oh my god, so much stupid!
First of all, where the hell did he watch Jurassic Park in this post-apocalyptic setting? What, has society broken down, but video rental places are at the top of their game? Secondly, how can you not tell what a movie is? What, did he think that this report added a John Williams score for dramatic effect? Did he see Jeff Goldblum in this movie and just assume that he was the exact same person in The Fly or Earth Girls Are Easy? Thirdly, and probably most importantly, they're not hunting dinosaurs in the first movie! The second movie kind of had dinosaur hunting and a T-Rex in the city, but this comic came out in 1993, the same year as the first Jurassic Park movie. And you know what's worse? This reminds me of, again, Battlefield Earth. Right at the beginning, where the future cavemen believe that mannequins and statues are people cursed by the gods. But at least that was 1,000 years in the future. This is supposedly taking place in the year 2101. So what is even the hell? A woman sporting a revolver that has a laser scope on the top, because just another futuristic gun would just be silly after so many that we've seen, comes out and orders them to drop their guns. And despite that scope, she's a really lousy shot and just starts opening fire on them. She's also clearly in plain sight, so they assume it's the Scroungers again and head for cover. However, when they get a better look at her, or rather her ass, since that was what the artist decided to draw on this panel, they realize it's not a Scrounger.
Looking at her gave me a funny feeling, like I get with Carol. Let's go after her. I want to talk with her.
With our reproductive organs.
Sure, why not? Got nothing better to do.
Our heroes, everyone! They got nothing better to do. Outside, the Scroungers have already grabbed the woman, and once again the shot of her is her bent over and showing her ass, which of course they felt needed to be outlined despite it being a tiny part of the image, even highlighting her in orange so that she was the focus against all of the dark surroundings. Chasing after them, Sleeper is able to shoot down one of the helicopters.
Girl's in the other ship. We gotta chase it down and save her. Why?
But you were the one... Ugh. I'd go hit my head against a wall for something as stupid as that, but we still have several more pages to get through. Even Sleeper is amazed at how dumb Kamandi is being, especially since he was the one who said he wanted to talk to her.
Listen, let me tell you something. This is a world gone psycho. We wear huge impractical hoop earrings on one ear, and we like it, damn it! Rescuing women and killing Scroungers should be right at the top of your list of things I gotta do today. Right after watching MASH reruns and installing headlights on your motorcycle.
Kamandi explains about Machine Mother giving him the task of going out west to kill a man, but Sleeper has no problem with that, since it looks like the Scroungers are heading out west. Thanks to the binoculars he pulls out of his ass. They drive off, and it's time for more of Ben Boxer's blog. I love alliteration.
The micro-locator worked well. We tracked the blonde kid and his pal leaving the city. I ran the scenario through my logic circuits. Logic said Machine Mother had probably given Blondie some kind of job to do topside.
Logic? My God, the man's talking about logic.
He reports that they tracked them until the New Jersey wastelands, but lost the signal amidst all the metal and junk in the wastelands. And oh yeah, they're clearly heading out west, what with New Jersey being directly west of New York, you know. Tom Veitch, the writer, was obviously not much into geography.
Hello, I'm Dr. Linksano. I'm sure many of you are getting ready now to write up your comments and make a little post when the video is finished to let Linkara know that he made a little mistake. At the time Linkara wrote and recorded this review, he was going by a general map of the United States, showing that New Jersey the state is directly below New York the state. Linkara should have gone more specific in his Google Maps searches with the fact that the villains were going to Hackensack, New Jersey, and they were coming from Manhattan, which according to this map is actually more northwest of the location. So actually, the comic got it right, and they are in fact west at the very least. So, we're just going to let you know from all of us here at Atop the Fourth Wall, sorry, we made a mistake.
Kamandi whines some more about how he wishes he could talk to Mother Machine.
Mother's real nice.
Yeah, I think the nicest thing that she did was when she let mutated creatures down into your bunker that killed your only other friend, and then tried to poison you if you didn't go out into the unfamiliar surface world to go murder a guy. She's a sweetheart, that one. And of course, what would a post-apocalyptic junkyard be without a big sign in clear letters that states,
"There is no law"?
Who was asking? The two travel through the junkyard, coming across corpses tied to poles. What I find fascinating about the ones tied up front is that I'm sure that's supposed to be their rib cages sticking out of them. Funny how their ribs extend all the way down to their waists.
If we don't rescue her, she'll end up like those dead slobs. Hey, did I say I was scared? Let's go! They can't stop us! We're on motorcycles! And with our status as main characters, we could do anything to them without being killed! Even challenge them to a card game! If only there was a way to combine motorcycles and card games.
But at some point, they apparently get off their motorcycles and watch a mutation pride parade? Seriously, it's those guys from the cover chanting Big Q while carrying signs and walking down a street. What the hell do they have the signs for? Who's going to see them?
Let's park the bikes and see what the parade's about. Stash a few guns under your coat in case they notice us.
Oh yeah, your guns are very easily hidden.
Pay no attention to me, fellow citizens!
My friends, it all belongs to us! That hunk of scrap metal? Ours! That bloated, rotting corpse? Ours!
To make a stupid story short, Big Q is a big-headed guy with a snidely whiplash mustache that everybody follows for some reason, despite the fact that in an environment like this, the physically stronger would probably have squashed him long ago. He promises them all that they should try to take over the world, but in order to do that, they need to propagate their numbers. So the parade is actually about auctioning off 3 women to the highest bidder. Kamandi wants to go help them, but Sleeper thinks that they should wait and see what happens, recognizing that, they're vastly outnumbered and outgunned. Kamandi, however, reminds us just how much of a clever youth he is by pulling a gun. Naturally, everybody around them pulls out their own guns, and they quickly surrender. Brilliant strategy, Kamandi!
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Big Q is not happy to see the two.
You perhaps think to steal our fertile females.
How does he even know they're capable of conceiving after the apocalypse?
And mate with them, so that you can repopulate the planet with your inferior genetic stock?
Wait a second. Inferior genetic stock? Their goal is to have sex and breed. Oh, I get it. This is the eventual result of the new Guardians and their failed mission to create the next stage of human evolution. The woman, who introduces herself as Saphira Cohen, does something. Seriously, look at this. She reaches behind her back, then there's a swing of her arm like she grabbed the gun from the guard, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened since the guy's holster is empty, but the swing of her arm is toward the guard's head, which suddenly just pops off. The hell just happened? She kills Big Q and uses her gun to start decapitating people with bullets. Kamandi and Sleeper get up and grab some guns, shooting into the crowd some more.
You ugly dudes better not try anything funny.
Ugly? I was voted sexiest man alive in the bunker 10 years running! Don't worry, we're cool. Let's ride. Slow ride, baby. Slow ride. Take it easy.
Sorry, other 2 women who were on stage, you don't conform to our standards of beauty, so I guess you're screwed. Ben Boxer narrates how they picked up the signal on the 2 after they left Jersey, naturally coming across a post-apocalyptic gas station. Seriously. Sleeper shoots off a padlock on the gas. Yeah, that gun he's sporting looks like it's precise enough to do that without blowing the entire thing up. Kamandi explains to Saphira about his quest to kill the man responsible for the second apocalypse. That's, nice. Hey, the first realistic reaction to anything that's happened so far.
Arizona, that's where I'm headed.
Actually, that looks kinda closer to New Mexico than Arizona, but again, geography is not the strongest trait of our creative team. Sleeper spots scavengers coming after them, but then sees Ben Boxer's battle plate come and destroy them.
We had a fat computer file on this group.
Wait, a fat file would suggest it was stuffed with papers and had tons and tons of documents inside of it. Computer files aren't really fat in the same way, unless you mean one that had, like, yottabytes of information on these things. But why the hell would you ever need that much information on these guys? What information could you possibly have on assholes who wear circus outfits and auction off women? What is this information in the file?
It is not in the file. It is not.
The master scientists who created us gave us 2 directives. The first is to find the cause of the second apocalypse. The second is to purge the Earth of subhuman scum. And so our comic ends with a mushroom cloud and Sleeper proclaiming, "The Sky Soldiers nuked New Jersey!" 2 thoughts spring to mind. 1, considering these guys were probably mutated by radiation and the like to begin with, that's probably not helping the problem. 2, considering how big that mushroom cloud is, you probably just killed off the guy you were following too. Just a thought. This comic sucks! The artwork is lazy, the characters are empty, the story is shallow and boring, and the creative team can't even tell South from West! Why this deserved a 6-issue miniseries, much less a 50-page one-shot sequel, confuses and angers me!
Actually they did. You got that wrong.
Shut up! I don't care!
Oh, by the way, you made several mistakes last week as well. Not the least of which being the spear thing. You see, at the end of some spears and cults...
It's been a long December and there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last. Alrighty. That is done. So, what am I reviewing today? Kamandi at Earth's End number 3. This year is gonna suck too. Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Unfortunately, the apocalypse turned out to be a big disappointment, so we're all still here. But in fiction, apocalypses are as common as street lamps, so naturally, this dumbass series actually filled out its 6-issue run, and here we are talking about it. So, previously on Kamandi at Earth's End. Kamandi is the last boy on Earth, except he's not, because this is an Elseworlds tale, where instead of it being a Planet of the Apes ripoff, it's a ripoff of, every post-apocalyptic movie ever, but even dumber. Kamandi has been sent out of his bunker by Mother Machine, or Machine Mother, they seem to swap it around a lot, to try to hunt down the man who caused the second apocalypse, and along the way he met a biker, a woman with bizarre pants, mutants, and robotic chicken people. Everyone has huge guns, the dialogue sucks, and Kamandi is a perverted idiot. So let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End number 3 and find out... nothing. We will find out nothing. Because this series was a waste of time. Our cover is our 3 heroes standing on a pile of junk with blank expressions on their faces and holding guns larger than they are. And for Sleeper Zom, that's a hell of an accomplishment considering he's already over-muscled beyond the point of rationality.
Cruisin' Thunder Road!
Oh yeah, I mean a comic about trying to hunt down and murder a guy has so much to do with a Springsteen song about a couple trying to run off and make things work. Unless it's a reference to the Robert Mitchum movie. I wouldn't be shocked by that actually, considering the amount of booze necessary for this comic's creation. We open inside of a plane while Ben Boxer continues his log entries. Question, who the hell is reading his logs? There's a reason Star Trek has a captain's log beyond exposition for the audience. They're regular reports that the higher-ups read. Who the hell is Ben Boxer sending his diary entries to? Anyway, these 2 idiots, one looking like he stepped out of a Sherlock Holmes film, and the other looking like Dr. Robotnik in a sombrero, discuss how the Death Slingers are planning an attack on the Roadies. Oh man, they're gonna attack the Roadies? But who else is gonna do the mic check?
We must follow and protect Kamandi until we can learn exactly who he has been sent to kill. We have already saved him from one group of vicious savages. Oh yeah, you did a great job of saving him. I especially like the part where you didn't save him at all. They managed to get away on their own, and then you nuked New Jersey! Our probes indicate several other types of human scum are surviving in the apocalyptic ruins of America. Human scum? Okay, Ben Boxer, I'm confused about what your mission is exactly. Are you evil robots, or are you actually interested in helping humanity repopulate the Earth? I only ask because while you were still nuke happy in Superman at Earth's End, you didn't want to kill everybody! Anyway, our two new characters are flying a 747, which naturally is in perfect working order after the apocalypse. Oh, but there are lots and lots of corpses still in their seats on the plane. Yeah, it wasn't the apocalypse that killed them, they'd just been waiting on the runway for too long. Ben Boxer's battle plate comes across them and shoots their plane down. Ben Boxer's log. I would have preferred to force the 747 to land so that we could conduct an investigation. Unfortunately, to prevent a collision, we had to shoot them out of the sky. And seeing as those laser beams are coming from directly above the 747, I think what you meant is that they were going to collide with the air in front of them and you needed to prevent that. Instead, the plane collides with the ground, right in front of Kamandi, Zom, and Saphira. I'll give the comic this credit. Once again, it takes on a very action movie-esque look as they drive their motorcycles away from the crashing plane. Badass. But less badass is that despite seeing them outrun the crash, when we cut to the next page, suddenly they're getting up out of the wreckage and Zom is proclaiming his irritation that their motorcycles are gone. Ah, sequential storytelling at its finest. Look, Saphira Cohen's found a survivor. Look, I'm saying her full name for absolutely no reason. Mutton Chop Man, with his dying breath, asks them to find Vile John and to tell them that 1,000 Death Slingers from the Night Zone are coming. And then he hands Saphira a human finger. Give him this. Dude, that's not what's meant when someone says they're offering their hand in marriage. Ooh, let's see how many other jokes I can milk out of this. Man, he really gave her the finger. Boy, that's finger-licking good. I don't think that's what she meant by finger food, man. Zom tells her to get rid of it, but Saphira says she's got a feeling they need to hang on to it. So, our first plot point revolves around dismembered body parts. Aw man, I can just tell that this comic's gonna be a feel-good comedy. Ben Boxer's diary states that they can't find Kamandi and are proceeding to Washington, D.C. in hopes of continuing the search. While the battle plate passes over them, the three sit around and discuss their next move. Since there are abandoned cars everywhere, it won't be too hard for them to get new transportation, but there's a difference of opinion on what direction to go. Zom wants to head north away from the battle plate, but Kamandi says he's going south. The road starts in Washington, D.C. Okay, I may have failed geography when I reviewed the first issue, but I'm pretty sure you can get to Arizona without first going to Washington, D.C. And don't try to tell me you need a road to Arizona, dude. You guys have been traveling on perfectly good road this entire friggin' time. Really? Washington, D.C.? They've got the biggest library in the world there.
Well, hooray for us.
So, books are the last thing we need. I don't know, I think I could think of something more useless.
You got a fish?
I got some seaweed.
Good.
Are you some kind of ignorant dog? Books are the best thing there is!
Look, Saphira, I'm sure you really enjoyed reading Rainbow as a kid, but I think after the apocalypse you need to start prioritizing.
Books are full of thinking!
Clearly, you've never read anything by Stephanie Meyer.
Don't you like to think?
Oh, Saphira, you've only just met Kamandi. Thinking is number 16 on his priorities list, right after whining about his computer mommy and operating ridiculous weaponry.
They go through some cars, most of which lack fuel due to it evaporating over the years. I'm sure there would be other maintenance problems, but whatever. But eventually they find a van that seems to work, loading up food from the crashed airplane onto it. While Zom drives, and doesn't argue about them now heading to Washington, D.C., he says they should get some rest and take over for driving later. Oh yeah, I'm sure the blonde idiot who spent most of his days having virtual sex or cruising around underground pipes knows how to drive a stick.
Good idea. I'm gonna read a book.
What books? You weren't carrying any books. They weren't carrying any books. Did you raid the 747 for the safety pamphlets? Is that all you think about? There's a TV and VCR back there. I'm gonna watch TV. Let's see what kind of reception we're getting on the TV. Oh man, it's my favorite show, Candle Cove.
You don't care about books, but books are all I ever had.
Oh, I get it. Saphira is the grown-up version of that girl from the Batman reading PSA who was obsessed with reading anything with words on it. I was just about to complain about a lack of character development, but it seems the comic beat me to the pass. Saphira gives some brief backstory about living in her dead father's house in the mountains, just reading books all the time, while Kamandi talks about how she's the first real woman she ever met.
The world is sure a scary place, Kamandi.
It sure is. It's terrifying just thinking about how you guys have been traveling for potentially weeks on end without showering, especially Kamandi and his greasy hair.
We could die at any minute.
Yeah, that's why we got guns.
Kamandi's a real glass half full kind of guy. He's also a brain half full kind of guy. The TV set suddenly turns on, revealing Mother Machine.
I have repaired and reactivated the geosynchronous satellite system that has been dormant since 2050.
How? You're an artificial intelligence who relied on Kamandi to do anything! Or do you have cybermats who can help you fix stuff?
Now hear me, and hear me well.
Ah, geez, here comes the timeshare pitch.
I know you have taken companions on your quest for the man. I disapprove.
Pat Robertson's new show is weird.
However, these companions may be of some use to you, since you are at this moment the object of a hunt by biomech androids. These powerful but irrational entities are of low intelligence, endlessly faithful to their obsolete programming. They follow the directives handed down to them by an old computer program called Clippy. They now roam the countryside, seeking people and offering spelling assistance.
Mother Machine briefs Kamandi on the biomechs and how they seek to destroy her. Subsequently, he must show them no mercy, but avoid them at all costs.
Be careful, my son. Watch out for the girl. Her motives are suspect. She's a very kinky girl, the kind you don't bring home to Mother.
They arrive in DC. They're spending way too much time here. They could be at the post-apocalyptic MagFest right now. And Saphira goes to the Library of Congress to check out some books. Kamandi says he doesn't know whether to trust the two.
If you don't trust us, you're dead, pal, because all you've got is a big machine that says it loves you. How can you trust a machine? Damn, it's them again!
That's our Kamandi! Don't actually try to rationalize anything. Just point and yell, "Hey, look over there!" Ben Boxer continues his log, stating that they think this may be their final destination, so they move in to capture Kamandi and kill the other two. You know, this is a big problem with this book. I commented on the bizarreness of Ben Boxer's logs, but this just points out especially how, from a narrative standpoint, the logs are stupid. Instead of building suspense as to the biomech's motives or plans, or even make them out as a credible threat just by being huge and imposing, instead we have to read every stupid little thought on Ben Boxer's Twitter, so any sense of mystery or suspense is taken away. And in the short time since Saphira entered, she's already gotten up to the 5th floor and found a whole bunch of books, including ones about Mother Machine, which she throws one down to Kamandi. Like the true brain trust that he is, Kamandi starts reading the book while they're under threat by the biomechs. Said Biomechs attack, spotting Saphira up on the other floor. They blast her with some kind of laser bazooka, and she plummets down. But that's okay, she survives easily. She landed on books. You know, the softest of all objects. As the Library of Congress is destroyed by the Biomechs, the three run out once again in an action movie image of the burning building behind them. Are these just the storyboards of some stupid movie and they all got crammed together to try to make a comic? Thousands of lovely books, blown to dust!
Guess we'll just have to write some of our own.
Could you start by making a better book than this one? And yeah, they managed to get away and onto the Great American Highway, which has graffiti written on it. No law, go wild, do what you want. Aw man, there's no law and order. I can finally do what I've always wanted, writing on street signs. The Great American Highway is not actually Route 66 or anything like that. It's apparently a gigantic highway made after the first apocalypse from DC to San Diego that's 40 miles wide. It's just 3 miles wider than Rhode Island. Jeez, that's government spending for you. Don't actually fix the roads, just build one huge-ass one.
God, it's weird. There's nothing out here. You could drive forever.
And I'm sure we'll see every friggin' second of it. Since it's so free and open, Zom decides to activate cruise control.
We can cruise right towards Arizona, and the automatic radar will sound if there's anything in our line of sight.
This random friggin' van had not only a TV and VCR built in, but also a radar? Did US-1 get into car manufacturing at the end of his series or something? Oh, and it's also got a microwave or something, since Saphira was able to make a freeze-dried turkey dinner. Of course. This is like a van a little kid designs. And it's got a radar, and a microwave, and my own VCR, and my own Super Nintendo, and an ejection seat. Kamandi turns on the TV to see if Mother is trying to contact him again, but instead they pick up a transmission from Ben Boxer's forces targeting some of Mother Machine's satellite systems. Kamandi is upset over this, but fortunately Zom knows just the right thing to say.
What's the problem, Kay? As long as we got guns, everything is cool.
Ah, the motto of the 90s.
Dude, that's not true! We need more than guns!
You do?
Cha! Obviously we need a Sega CD, too! I mean, where would we be without that?
The van comes under attack by guys in gigantic hot rod battle wagons. Yes, seriously. Kamandi and Saphira try using their ridiculously huge weapons, but they're evidently useless. Where does Sleeper get these weird guns? This thing doesn't have a trigger. Is this comic self-aware? Nope, wait, turns out it's just some kind of rocket launcher. False alarm, comic is still stupid. The rocket launcher manages to take out the hot rods, but the pilots, in all their dumb checkered pattern and star-branded kneecap glory, seriously, what in the hell, survive and leap onto the van. However, the van screeches to a halt when they reach a makeshift wall. They're captured by the roadies, who want to know who the hell they are and what they're doing.
We're not your enemies. We're going to Arizona.
Arizona, huh? Taking a little vacation with a wife and kids? And I suppose the guns are for hunting jackrabbits in the Grand Canyon.
Dude, every single person in this idiotic world is carrying a gun. That's not an indicator that they're evil. That's just common sense. Also, the guy has Moby written on one of his shoulder pads. Somehow, I doubt that these people are all made of stars. They take them to their leader, Vile John, who looks like M. Bison if he replaced the cool red coat for every Youngblood member ever. Seriously, grenades, pouches, random colors, huge shoulder pads.
There. Sure glad I don't look stupid in this.
Anyway, they remember the message they were supposed to give about the Death Slingers coming when they recognize the name and they pass the finger over to him, which somehow proves they're telling the truth.
I know this finger.
Hey, I've got a finger for you too, if you want to see if you know that one. And so our comic ends with them spotting the Death Slingers approaching on the horizon, which means that Kamandi and his group arrived far too late for the information about their approach to mean a damn thing. Huzzah! This comic sucks! It continues to have no substantial character development, the environment just seems to be there to go from action scene to action scene, and Ben Boxer is utterly useless! Even ignoring the lame log entries, he keeps saying that they need to grab Kamandi, even though they should not be having this much trouble with it considering how friggin' huge and powerful the ship is. The artwork personifies everything wrong with the 90s, all of its laziness and stupidity. And looking at the last page, I suddenly realized why they introduced the stupid 40-mile highway, so they wouldn't be bothered to draw actual background details. Nope, just a big mass of gray. I'd say I was disappointed by this thing for the start of the year, but honestly, that would imply I had any hopes for it to begin with. Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Kamandi at Earth's End #4. Yay. Previously on the Kamandi at Earth's End reviews, a meathead named Kamandi was tasked by a sentient computer named Mother Machine to kill the guy responsible for the apocalypse. Second apocalypse, because apparently the first one was returned under warranty or something. He met up with a muscle-bound idiot named Sleeper Zom and a scantily clad woman named Saphira, and the group found their way to Washington, D.C., where we discovered that books are full of thinking. However, books like this are evidence that they are not made with thinking. After escaping from chicken robots intent on both killing them and not killing them, they proceeded along the most idiotic transportation project ever and were captured by people wearing very stupid outfits and warned them that Death Slingers were coming. And then 2 seconds later, the Death Slingers came. I'd say this subplot was pointless, but under the sheer weight of every other pointless and asinine thing we have to deal with, it seems a little redundant. So let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End #4 and see if there's anything left worth caring about. My money is on no. Well, it's taken us this long, but we finally have a cover that confirms that, indeed, we have finally reached Superman at Earth's End. You know, it's kind of funny. I started reviewing the series to try to look back on what led us to Bearded Idiot, but we've seen so much else that's wrong with this lame-ass series that reaching this finally just isn't worth it. As for the cover itself, it's not bad. Not great either. I admit it's a striking image with the focus on the S-shield, but complemented by the Santa Claus beard that does make you want to read more, but then again, it is just that and nothing else. Though I suppose the less we see of this guy, the better. Gotta love the crappy tagline, too. The Man of Tomorrow! Today! This comic takes place in the future. It's not today, it's the Man of Tomorrow, tomorrow! We open with some Mad Max-inspired roadster with orcs on top of it. Ben Boxer's log, September 29th, 2101 AD. Beaming a magnetic resonance scan into their TV set, we monitored the conversations of Kamandi and his friends as they drove west. And tonight, we're going to share those secret conversations with you live and on prime time. Viewer discretion is advised. We learned they were heading for Arizona, looking for somebody Machine Mother wanted dead. Obviously, Machine Mother had a bad experience at Amy's Baking Company. Topical! About the time they hit Kansas, they found something they never expected. A road war. Yes, a road war, but only because of this moronic idea of a 40-mile wide highway. And considering the apocalypse has already wiped out most of humanity, this is technically a world war at this point.
You know, why is it that post-apocalyptic stories usually have the people running around in big, bizarre-looking outfits? And why do they always have a ready supply of various types of weaponry and custom vehicles? Wouldn't resources, especially ones like that, be extraordinarily scarce and difficult to produce, especially custom-painted ones? Anyway, with their enemies approaching, Sleeper asks Vile John if they can have their guns back. I'll bring it up at the next meeting of the knitting club, kid. Oh, he's totally serious. They needed to learn to knit so they could put random stars and words like Moby on their clothes. Also, kid? Really? Kamandi is supposed to be a kid, and that's stretching it, but Sleeper Zom looks 40 and has one huge-ass earring for no reason. Vile John orders one of his men named Tanker to open fire on the approaching vehicles. Tanker does so along with his associate Stinkfoot. Okay, you gotta imagine that showers are not the highest priority for anybody after the apocalypse, so you have to wonder, how bad is the smell if you've actually earned the name Stinkfoot? Also, Tanker has UHF written on his shoulder for no reason. You know, Weird Al's UHF had concepts like Gandhi 2, Conan the Librarian, and Wheel of Fish, all of which are infinitely more interesting than this comic. And going back to the scarcity of resources thing, we've got 4 massive roadsters approaching, and I just have to shake my head. Okay, if they have the resources to build things this huge, why are they sitting on top of them instead of inside of them like tanks? In fact, why aren't they tanks? I mean, they could have just been salvaged cars, but you know what? I've seen some stupid car designs in my life, but I really doubt this model took off as a popular one, especially because they're so friggin' huge. I mean, come on, these can't be salvaged vehicles, or is the highway littered with 10-foot tires from monster trucks? And yeah, I guess you could say that with the insanely large highway, you'd see more gigantic cars, but don't you think the cars would be more designed for comfort instead of being as impractical as these things are? I mean, sure, that's fine on the highway, but the rest of the world still has normal streets. Anyway, enough about the dumbass cars, back to the other dumbass things about the comic. The attack blows up one of the cars and we get our issue's title. Kamandi at Earth's End. The Man at Earth's End. Wow, I bet you really agonized over that title for this issue. Where do you get your ideas? Kamandi had got himself into the middle of a titanic clash between a road king named Vile John and a Canadian brute called the Emperor of the Night Zone. So we were just in Washington, D.C. on our way to Arizona, and now we've got people from Canada driving down to engage in turf wars? I may suck at geography, but I'm pretty sure the Canadians are going a bit out of their way for this. As the Canadian forces break through a wall or something, Vile John orders Kamandi and company to arm themselves and to come help in the defense. Strap on your engines, boys. We're riding out to the field of honor. It's days like this what makes death worth living for. Right about that, the more I read this series, the more the sweet embrace of death looks appealing. So Vile John gets his own super fancy car that has half a dozen chain guns attached to it. You know what these things actually kind of remind me of? This is from an old toy line of the 90s called Z-Bots. You'll notice that despite having spikes in the front and missiles on the back, it's still a much more practical and cooler vehicle than the ones in this comic. So the two gangs slam into each other and open fire, and Ben Boxer narrates that the Canadians were much worse than Vile John's forces. Not that it makes any difference, there is nothing interesting to look at in this comic. Frankly, I can't tell which is which. After the cars ram into each other, a big troll guy with chains going down from his neck to his crotch leaps over and he gets shot by Kamandi. I never did care for Canadians.
Canada, our mortal enemy.
I know I used that particular clip in the very first Kamandi video, but this concept never stops being silly.
This artwork is horrendous, and I don't just mean the character designs and guns and crap. Remember how I talked in the last Kamandi video about how they made the big open highway so they wouldn't have to draw the backgrounds? Yeah, it's pretty evident that that was the case here. For the first 14 pages of this comic, there are 0 backgrounds. The only way they could have gotten worse at this would have been if there were no colors or gradients, if it was all just white. But honestly, if they're going to be so lazy with the artwork that they're not going to bother drawing backgrounds, just make it all white anyway! Vile John gets killed by the Emperor of Stupid Hats, or whatever he is. Not that I care, just here for summarizing purposes. And when our heroes are threatened, Ben Boxer fires his weapons to annihilate the attackers. And thus they decide to just kill everything and let God sort it out. And our heroes make a hasty retreat. However, apparently the government wasn't doing a very good job maintaining the massive 40-mile-wide freeway, since they fall into what they describe as a pothole. A pothole large enough for an entire giant car to fall into. Yeah. Anyway, the car somehow survived that, and they land inside of the bunker system that Kamandi had previously been inside of. Okay, again, they have traveled at least over 2 states by now. This stops being a bunker at some point and just becomes the underground nation of mole people. They discover a giant computer at the end of the corridors, which are large enough to drive through. Woo! I knew it! Just like home! Virtual reality sex, here I come! This gotta be... poor grammar. This gotta be a military fortress! The North American Defense Command! It's part of the bunker system! Yeah, Kamandi. You just said that on the last page! Oh, and great planning on the military's part. Put a massive complex underneath a friggin' freeway! Actually, you know who probably built this? The same idiots who made that underground base for the Atomic Knights from Battle for Bloodhaven. Just put secret military facilities underneath public areas so that if something goes wrong, it'll blow up as many innocent people as you can. Brilliant military thinking!
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Kamandi accesses the computer to talk to Mother Machine. She says she's working on a plan to kill Ben Boxer and the Biomechs, but in the meantime, he needs to complete their mission. Find the man. Find my enemy. Please find him and kill him as I asked, my son.
This show is boring. Let's see what else is on.
There's just one place to go for all your spatula needs.
Spatula City! Spatula City!
Anyway, I think I was wrong. They didn't arrive in the bunker system, they clearly arrived in the Plot Convenience Playhouse, since in the next area, there's a military high-speed jet tube that will get them to the next leg of their journey. Ben Boxer and his forces arrive to attack, and they once more retreat to the tube. They manage to activate it just before they're blasted, and Ben Boxer narrates their journey to us, saying that they'll let Kamandi reach the person he has to kill, since they suspect the guy can be helpful to their cause. He also talks about the places they'll pass through, like the missile fields of West Kansas, the graveyards of the first apocalypse, and to the Arizona area where people after the second apocalypse went to die. Yeah, because when the world is ending, the first place I think of going to is Arizona.
Okay, this is it. Let's go topside and look around. Everybody remember where we parked!
And thus they go topside, and geez, is this ever a sad sight. In the Grand Canyon are hundreds of thousands of corpses. Pretty shocking that the bodies are this intact, to be honest. And it's explained that people were dying from some virus that was killing everybody.
So many died that they had no place to put them.
So they decided to fill up the Grand Canyon with them? This is simultaneously horrifying and horrifyingly idiotic. You know, if there were this many people dying from an illness, it's probably not the best idea to just shove their diseased, rotting corpses in a big open hole in the ground. For that matter, why the hell aren't these three retching their guts out? Dead bodies stink, and that many, especially diseased ones that are mostly intact, probably are a bit of a health hazard for these idiots. Oh, and by the way, kind of hard for me to feel horrified about the apocalypse and the dead bodies when this same damn comic was glorifying death and violence not 10 pages ago! Anyway, back to the land of plot convenience. There just happens to be an auto museum next to the Grand Canyon, so they can steal another car. This time, a purple open-top Humvee or something. And naturally, it still works. This car is way cool.
Yeah. I wish I lived back in the days when everything was peaceful and people drove around in these.
You know, in the days when dinosaurs roamed the land. What, don't you remember issue 2, which informed us that these idiots think dinosaurs and humans lived in the early 90s together? Or did they mean we lived in peace with our T-Rex brethren? They arrive at a Hopi Indian reservation and start looking around for the guy that Machine Mother wants Kamandi to kill. I'm frankly just amazed that we actually have backgrounds for a change. They're not very good backgrounds, but after the 14 pages of blank colors, this is actually really welcome. They can't seem to find anybody, but fortunately for Kamandi, there was a communicator back in the bunker that he can use to talk to Mother Machine. I would say that this is another example of coincidence and luck serving the needs of plot convenience. But frankly, a communicator in a military bunker area is probably the most logical thing they've run into so far. Mother Machine tells him to keep looking around, and they finally spot him. Dude offers Kamandi some dried deer meat if he's hungry, trying to hold off the surprise reveal, and Machine Mother orders Kamandi to kill him. And so our comic ends with that surprise reveal. It's Superman! Oh my god! What a shocking surprise twist that they revealed on the cover, thus it wasn't really a twist! This comic sucks! Even ignoring the idiocy of having the twist ending of Super Santa revealed by the cover, this issue pretty much reveals how completely pointless both this issue and the previous one really were. Issue 3 made a whole big deal about getting the message to Vile John about the oncoming attack. They get the message only seconds before the attack begins, and the fight lasts 14 pages of badly drawn shooting, driving, and stabbing, and then they're completely gone from the story. It's all just one gigantic load of padding to get to this point. We still don't know anything more about these characters or why we're supposed to give a damn about them. The real name of this series is Waste of Time at Earth's End. Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Kamandi time again, let's recap. Previously on the Kamandi at Earth's End reviews, Kamandi was just a boy. A mere boy of 30, judging by the looks of him. A computer made him go onto the post-apocalyptic surface to murder Superman, and he met a guy named Sleeper Zom and a woman named Saphira. Zom taught him about dinosaurs and their war with humanity in the early 90s, while Saphira taught him that books are full of thinking. They're being chased by the chicken robots of Ben Boxer, who I guess hates the amount of thinking that books contain. After dealing with mutants and wannabe M. Bison, the characters have finally reached their target. A bearded idiot who is supposed to be Superman. So let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End number 5 and see if Bearded Idiot is as much of a hypocritical dumbass as he was in Superman at Earth's End. The cover is blech. Kamandi and Bearded Idiot running on top of some kind of mechanical floor. Well, I say running, but more likely Bearded Idiot is hobbling. His legs are gigantic, each one almost as thick as his torso. Hell, one leg doesn't even resemble a leg. It's like some kind of hideous growth from his hip.
I also love how there's this yellow outline around his arm to differentiate it from his leg, since the thing is so over-muscled and thick that you wouldn't be able to tell where the arm starts and the leg begins without it. Although, maybe his legs aren't actually that big, and he's just wearing really huge parachute pants. This was the mid-90s. He could have just been a huge MC Hammer fan. It would also explain why there's unnecessary black rectangles and red lines on the pants. Hey, dumbass artists! Superman's classic costume is one of the most perfectly balanced superhero outfits ever created, with just the right amount of blue and red. Tweaking stuff like the Superman logo? Yeah, that tends to work out fairly well. But adding stupid flourishes like black rectangles to his pants? You're not innovative, you're just obsessed with random geometry. Actually, having some kind of geometry fetish would explain a lot of the artwork of the 90s. We open where we left off last time, with Mother Machine telling Kamandi to kill Superman. Unfortunately for them, Superman is still roided up like a pink rabbit, so he grabs Kamandi by the wrist and slams him into the ground. Stronger than you, boy! Can he hear Mother Machine talking about how he's old and weak? Otherwise, there's no reason to say that. Sleeper Zom says they'll take care of him. And I just noticed that Superman's belt has pouches on it. Really, artist? Really? You know, at least the likes of Youngblood carried guns and other weapons, so they had a reason for the pouches. What the hell good is a random pouch for Superman? And don't tell me it's for carrying extra supplies or a place to put kryptonite shards or something. He wears the damn outfit under his clothes. Where the hell is he gonna hide that belt? Oh, well, it's post-apocalyptic, so he'd use it to carry around supplies. No! Stop making excuses for the dumbass comic and its dumbass artistic choices. They put pouches on Superman's belt because that's what every other hero in the 90s did, even though it makes no sense. Anyway, Zom decides to open fire with his ridiculous gun that apparently just shoots all of its spent shell casings out in a perfectly diagonal line in big chunks. You know, at the speed they're going and without any particular pattern, those things have got to be ricocheting off each other and hitting people in the eye. Maybe you need some safety glasses to operate your stupid, ludicrous gun that you can hold one-handed. Oh, and I double-checked. He didn't have this gun at the end of the last issue.
Great continuity!
Or perhaps he was just storing it up his enormous backside. Ben Boxer's log, September 30th, 2101 AD. Steve forgot to refill the coffee machine again. I'm already planning his demise. Machine Mother had sent Kamandi and his friends on a deadly mission to find and kill a man. Well, at least I assume he's a man. I hope he can declare whether or not he is one while punching me in the stomach. Mother Machine congratulates Kamandi on a job well done. Even though it was Sleeper who did it, Kamandi, as always, was useless. Saphira says that she had read about Superman, that he was supposed to be the strongest and bravest man in the world. Although at this point, I'd imagine he's the strongest in being unhygienic. Hard to find clean sources of water to bathe in after the apocalypse when you're just living in ruins. And probably explain the Santa Claus beard, too. I'll tell you who he was. He was the evil man who killed all the people in the world. Except us. And all the mutants, all the people in the bunkers, any other human survivors that we've seen just kind of trolling around the place. Man, Superman sure sucks at killing everybody. A rather loud robot with multiple appendages suddenly sneaks up on them, and there's a contradiction for you, since we can see the sound effect words, and it seems like this is the kind of thing that'd be hard to miss, and manages to grab the three, although it may not actually be a robot, but some kind of giant probe sent down from Ben Boxer's battle plate, which is also stealthy as all hell, despite being, well, that huge and obvious. Huh? Them again? The freaking sky squirrels! More like sky chickens, frankly. We had followed Kamandi and his pals clear across the country, from New York to Arizona. They had proved they had what it takes to hunt and kill an old man. Clearly the most Herculean of tasks.
Now it was time for them to answer to a higher power.
You're a power, all right, but I think the higher part is debatable. Unless you're just high.
Why did Machine Mother send you to kill this harmless old man? He deserved to die!
I mean, did you even see Man of Steel?
Yes, I actually rather enjoyed it myself. You are the real monsters!
Ben Boxer recognizes Superman, having helped the master scientists in constructing the orbital laboratory where they came from.
Like him, I was more than 100 years old. Unlike him, I don't age. I don't die. I am endlessly repaired thanks to biomech technology.
It's a different kind of world. You need a different kind of software.
And 6 pages in, we finally get a title page. To a city in the sky. But does this city in the sky keep on turning?
Sky City. The Master Scientist Guild built it after they became politically independent in the late 20th century.
Yeah, I remember that. People claimed their independence was a fabricated distraction from the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Here they created many marvels, including the biomech androids.
Ah yes, the Roombas. A robotic guard, at least I assume it's robotic since it seems to have a coffee can for a head, maybe it's Torg from Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, says that the humans aren't allowed to enter the city, but Ben Boxer explains that they're prisoners.
We have accomplished many things on our tour of Earth's cities. We played to sold-out crowds across the world.
He says the humans will help them finish off Machine Mother, and they're allowed in, held in place while standing up thanks to an easily escapable restraint that they can probably just slide out of if they just tried, sitting down. The restraints look like smooth metal. Seriously, all they have to do is suck in their guts and get out. Okay, maybe not Saphira, but the other two could probably do it. Also, what in the hell, Michigan, is that supposed to be? Got really thin, short legs, it's purple, has a big metal cylinder for a neck and collar, and a tiny little head with wires and 2 yellow eyes. Oh, and it's muscle-bound like crazy, can't forget that. Sleeper expresses his regret about going on this journey and leaving New York.
I could be having fun instead of this crap.
Oh yeah, you totally would have had fun living in the remains of your little fortress with the keep out sign. You know, the one that was blown up and stuff with nobody there to talk to or anything. Or perhaps your favorite activity is sleeping. Would explain your name.
Hey, no sweat, Sleeper. I thought you liked adventure. Besides, Mother never forgets. Mother will help us.
Your DiMaggio-like streak for saying nothing even remotely interesting is still alive and well.
Meanwhile, Ben Boxer is talking to a recovering Superman. They apparently put him under a sun lamp to help restore his body and mind. Also, there's this robot here named Dan T, who I can't help but feel I've seen before. He kind of looks like a robotic Kilowog from the Green Lantern books, but there's something about the overall head shape and jawline. I'm thinking like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, Frankenstein Jr. maybe? I don't know, something familiar, I can't pin it down. Apparently, the bearded idiot has been weakened because he was living under the polluted atmosphere without any exposure to the sun ever since the second apocalypse. Which was like 100 years ago in this comic. How the hell is he so damn muscle-bound if he's been living in a post-apocalyptic environment without his powers? At least Kamandi had the benefit of living underground and getting nutrition and exercise and crap with Mother Machine's guidance. How the hell does anybody who's scrounging for food and water in this environment manage to balloon up like characters do in this damn series? Superman claims that the apocalypse is his fault, but Ben Boxer and Dan T fill in the details and show how, well, it isn't.
Our information is that Apocalypse 2, Electric Boogaloo, was initiated by the systems computer that was built to govern all Earth technology, the Core Mind Mix 7000.
What dumbasses who have never seen a Terminator movie in their friggin' lives would ever think that was a smart idea?
I was against creating such a powerful machine. I knew what could happen, but I was overruled by the politicians.
Thanks, Obama! But yeah, the Core Mind Mix 7000 was Mother Machine. It quickly gained self-awareness that evolved into paranoia and unleashed a virus that wiped out most of the world's population and mutated others. They bring in our heroes to interrogate them on what they know about Mother Machine. Kamandi is pissed that Superman's still alive, still thinking he's the one who killed everybody. Superman tries to say it was Mommy Dearest, but Kamandi's having none of it. However, it seems that a book that Saphira is carrying around contains the location of Mother Machine's brain core. If they destroy that, she's gone. It seems books are also full of plot convenience. They ask Kamandi about what sort of defenses she has, but naturally he's not telling anything and they're sent back to their cell, I guess we can call it. Congratulations! That scene accomplished jack squat. I'm so glad it took us 5 issues to get to this point. On the way back, Sleeper says what they're saying makes sense and he doesn't trust Mother Machine. Kamandi is belligerent, but Saphira offers this bit of wisdom. Even if this mother thing did all the stuff they say she did, we're a team now. We should stick together. It's us against them. Yeah, even if they're absolutely right and you've been manipulated and tricked this entire time, stay the course and continue to be manipulated and tricked because you're a team. Remind me again how the hell you guys are still alive. Ben Boxer takes Superman on a tour of the ship's weapons, explaining that their goal is to cleanse the Earth, restore stability, and rebuild human civilization. They want Superman to help with that. It will take many years, centuries even. You'll be here. You're an android. I won't be around to see it. Dude, you've already lasted well over 100 years and the only side effect is looking like Santa Claus. Don't count yourself out just yet. However, the two are interrupted by a sudden explosion in front of them. It seems they've arrived at the core's location, but Mother Machine has been busy over the last 100 years, building powerful long-range defensive lasers. They fire back, but their little floating city... Wait, they brought the whole city? Maybe you want to scout the place first before you send in everything? Is taking a pounding. Kamandi and company hear the sounds of the blasts, and they decide now's their chance. Sleeper somehow knocks off the head of the purple thing, but there's another blast closer to them that, eradicates Sleeper's legs. And it's considerably more gruesome than we've gotten so far. Yeesh. He tells Kamandi to take Saphira and to leave him. You're crazy! We're taking you with us! Don't be a jerk, Kay. My arteries are pumping like open sewers. With how high your blood pressure has to be with your physique, that does not surprise me. Also, ew. And so the two make a run for it. Yeah, don't bother to mourn him or be sad about his loss. I mean, it's not like you guys were a team or anything. But no, I'm not surprised by the lack of emotion. After all, Sleeper Zom would have to have some kind of character or something in order for us to be invested in him and thus care if he's living or dead. Kamandi and Saphira reach the battle plate, identified by Ben Boxer as the Sky Deck, and start trying to get it to take off. Kamandi, wait! We need that deck! We've got to evacuate the city! The old broad is hitting us with tactical nukes! Okay, 1, old broad? Really, Ben? The hell kind of android are you? 2, tactical nukes? Well, Kamandi and Saphira are dead. Radiation. 3, I didn't know nukes came in laser form. Bearded Idiot leaps over to the deck as it flies off, but that just makes it a prime target for Mother Machine, who opens fire on the thing and instantly makes it crash. Naturally, Saphira and Kamandi start falling to their deaths, but Ben Boxer narrates the flippin' obvious to us, that Superman has been unable to fly for so many years, but when presented with the possibility of both his death, yeah right, and the deaths of the other two, he starts flying and saves them. Oh goody, they're alive! Now the comic can continue! Bearded Idiot's memory starts to come together again on what to do to stop Mother Machine, but his powers are beginning to fade under the weakened light. As such, with his remaining strength, he starts clawing away at the place in order to reach the core. Kamandi tries to hit him with a pipe, but it goes about as well as you'd expect.
Kid, it's time you faced some hard truths. Superman, dealer of harsh lessons. Admit it, you're emotionally plugged into a machine that killed off the entire human race. Boxer's wrong. You're wrong. You don't know anything. You're just an old man.
Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.
Think about it, Kamandi.
Ooh, telling Kamandi to think. That's asking a bit too much of him, dude.
You call a computer your mother? A computer that kills?
I mean, if she was peaceful, it'd be perfectly okay to call a computer your mother. Mother Machine pops up with a display and another superpowered laser that she shoots at Superman, knocking him away. She tells Kamandi he's done well and opens up a door for him to return underground.
I need you, Kamandi. I need your help in the battle that I must now wage against my enemies. You'll make a great meat shield, Kamandi.
He asks if he can bring Saphira down too, but she refuses.
You have Carol to give you pleasure. This girl is not permitted.
But, Mother, Carol's only a simulation. I can't have children with Carol. Oh, dear Lord, just try to imagine Kamandi raising kids. Son, books may be full of thinking, but they won't make your muscles big. Daughter, why don't you have any holes cut out of your pants? What if your mother saw you? Kamandi tells Saphira to come in with him anyway.
I'm scared. She looks evil.
Yeah, I can tell how frightened you look with that completely normal expression on your face. And so our comic ends with the two entering while Mother Machine screams at him that he'll be punished for this. Next, the soul of a sinister machine. And the soul of a sinister machine is going to suck, just like this comic sucks. Ugh, what's there to say at this point? The problems with this series persist, but now they've killed off a main character and it's completely shrugged off. Why did I want to review this series again? Oh yeah, it's because I wanted to see where Bearded Idiot first came about. And now I've seen it. And it's just as crappy as I thought it'd be. Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Well, I've put one awful sci-fi series with a dopey protagonist and a computer named Mother behind me, so why not another? Kamandi at Earth's End tells the tale of a post-apocalyptic future where men are overinflated parade balloons and women don't wear many clothes, and the clothes they do wear don't make a whole lot of sense. A bunch of chicken robots want to purge the Earth of mutations and whatnot, but they are opposed by Mother Machine, or Machine Mother, since they flip the name around a lot. At some point, I expect them to start mixing the syllables, so we have Moth Sheen or something. An artificial intelligence that wants to kill Superman, Bearded Idiot, for reasons that are still unclear to me. I don't know, maybe she thought he could still destroy her, but considering he was sitting alone in a bunch of ruins for seemingly 100 years, you're probably good. Hell, if he didn't try to fight you out of boredom after that much time, he's probably too far gone mentally to be any danger. Also, we learned that books are full of thinking. So let's dig into Kamandi at Earth's End number 6 and put another god-awful miniseries to a close. So last week, we had a good cover to conclude Sci-Spy, so naturally, the conclusion to Kamandi is just crap. What the hell am I even looking at? Kamandi locked in some kind of machine, but he might be sitting since I think those are his very lumpy knees. And what's with his hair? Did he just get an electrical shock and so his hair's sticking out? Or are all of those cables actually a bunch of vacuums that are sucking at his hair? Wouldn't surprise me, they're not the only thing sucking in this comic. Oh, and there's Slimer from Ghostbusters, I guess. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine at this point. It's like a giant green version of the monster from Basket Case. Virtual brutality! So it's fake brutality. We open with Bearded Idiot laying in the shadow of a Superman statue, which naturally survived right next to Mother Machine's heavily guarded compound, despite Mother Machine's obvious contempt and hatred for Superman. Sure, it's just a statue, but we've already established Mother Machine as an emotional being, so why the hell wouldn't she blow the thing up?
Ben Boxer's log, October 1st, 2101 AD. My parents say that I can kill Mother Machine if I get 50,000 reblogs on this log entry. Sky City withstood the attack of Machine Mother. If by withstood you mean had more holes put in it than elevator doors in an action movie, the attack has ceased for the moment, so Ben Boxer is bringing down the surviving chicken robots to investigate just what the hell happened. Thanks to the book we took from the girl Saphira, we knew that Machine Mother's brain core was located 6 miles under the New York bunker. Books are not only full of thinking, they're full of spoilers. Ben Boxer's forces send in condensed solar energy into Superman to save his life, and he reports how he was able to fly and how Saphira and Kamandi are also still alive. Listen, Superman, if the kid is alive, then he's probably down in the bunker, seeing his precious mother. And she's probably chastising him about how he needs to get a job so he can move out and give her some damn grandkids. Speaking of, Kamandi and Saphira make their way through the underground tunnels, which now appear to be flooded, though who can tell with this craptastic artwork.
This is where you used to live?
Something's happened. It used to be nice. It wasn't like this. Damn low-income housing, it's ruining this whole neighborhood. Watch it, Hellrat. The Hellrats live in the dark places, deep in Mother's data core.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Fixer told me about them. They escaped from the Gotham City genetics lab back when the virus hit.
So, twin clones of Hitler and giant hell rats came from Gotham City's genetics lab. And people laugh when I say scientists are evil.
The labs were breeding all kinds of mutations, dogs with vocal cords and stuff like that.
And thus we learn the true origins behind a talking cat. Also, he said these things were deep in Mother Machine's data core? Oh, yeah, that's great for all the electronic equipment where you store your artificial intelligence. Escaped giant rat mutations. They're great for clearing away dust. Saphira tells Kamandi that she's got a weird feeling about Mother Machine and suspects she was firing on them earlier, knowing full well he was on the sky deck. Mother Machine starts talking, and apparently she's completely changed her tune since the end of the last issue. Now she's only too happy to let Saphira hang around, despite swearing murderous vengeance at the end of the last issue. Man, do you remember when this comic had consistency and tight plotting? Yeah, I don't either. I'm just putting myself into a happy place and living in denial.
What a lovely girl you found. I'm sure she'll make a wonderful mate for you, Kamandi. You're destined to be the new Adam and Eve, father and mother of the new human race.
I've already picked out a lovely toaster for a wedding present.
Come, my son, climb into your favorite chair so we can talk. I have much to show you.
I've added a cup holder since you've been gone.
Yes, Mother, but I thought you were angry with me.
Angry? No, how can I be angry with the one that I love?
Cruel to be kind in the right measure. Cruel to be kind, it's a very good sign.
That's right, that's good. Now put on the reality mask. Good.
You know, most parents usually discourage their kids from playing video games. Good to see a more progressive one.
Now, as I spin my world around you,
right round like a record, baby,
let me ask you, my son, why did you hurt me by disobeying and bringing this ugly female creature into my house?
Mom, I'm getting mixed signals here.
Now Mother must punish you! Enjoy having every issue of Sci-Spy flashed in front of your eyes at once!
No! No! It's so boring!
Mother Machine calls Saphira a little predator and a viper, unleashing creatures on her to try to kill her. Kamandi breaks free of the machine and asks what the hell Mother Machine's deal is, but she's more concerned about the fact that she now realizes Bearded Idiot is still alive. Still, Kamandi goes to rescue Saphira.
Hold on, girl! I'm coming! I'm coming with this gun that I conveniently have now, no doubt having stored it up my ass!
Seriously, it doesn't even look like the same gun he had with him on the opening pages. Where did he get that thing?
Bad Kamandi! Evil Kamandi! Mother knows Kamandi doesn't love Mother! Mother knows the best way to reach you is to speak in the third person!
I do love you, but I love Stalin more. But damn it, Mother! They say you started it! They say you killed everybody!
Now, Kamandi. Nobody cares who started the genocide. He frees Saphira from the creature and demands to know if Mother Machine caused the second apocalypse. But she doesn't answer, instead just saying that the witch has taken over his mind.
The ignorant victim of your sexual desires!
This is a weird remake of Eyes Wide Shut.
That's a lie! I'm free! I'm a free man! I am a free man!
The hell?
Whoever took my long box better put it the hell back!
Sorry! My bad!
A free man does anything he wants to! I'm gonna stay up late and watch R-rated movies and eat ice cream for breakfast, and you can't stop me, Mom!
Mother Machine's had enough of the ramblings and just grabs them with robotic appendages. Meanwhile, Bearded Idiot leads Ben Boxer and a few weird-ass robots with chain gun arms and shark heads and other assorted overblown 90s things through the tunnels, his enhanced senses allowing him to track them by smell. They start encountering obstacles. Apparently, Machine Mother was able to develop techno-organic materials into the very walls, letting her pull out weapons completely at will. And simply sending a robot to kill Superman with this technology was completely out of the question. No. She needed to send the sexually repressed muscle man who regularly takes firearm enemas.
Some of the lasers she threw at us had 100 gigawatts behind them. They could melt 10-inch steel. Fortunately, we had living 20-inch steel.
Very flexible steel, it would seem, given the fact that Bearded Idiot is in a classic Escher Girl's boobs and butt pose. I don't get it, though. Who wants to see Superman's boobs? They reach the room where Kamandi and Saphira are being held, Mother Machine saying she'll use them as bait.
Boxer's log. Why am I writing log entries while we're in the middle of a fight with my greatest enemy? In the next second, Mother began bombarding us with powerful microwave beams that could cook us from the inside out. The fool! She needs to pan-fry us, not microwave us! It ruins the flavor!
Bearded Idiot just flies away from the attack. Gotta save the kids! Gotta save the 30-year-old kids! While Ben Boxer sets up a force field to protect the last of his troops, Bearded Idiot finishes saving Kamandi and Saphira. They still need to access Mother Machine's data core, so Kamandi volunteers to plug himself back into the chair, which will somehow allow him to hack into Mother Machine directly. Look, your guess is as good as mine at this point how he knows that will work. This stupid series is almost over, and I'm just throwing up my hands as they try to plug up their plot holes with tissues.
I watched Kamandi's fingers play over the programming controls, exactly as Machine Mother had taught him.
Why the hell would she teach him how to access her code? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh dear, I was afraid of this. Kamandi! Come on!
This makes no sense, and yet it's working.
However, Mother Machine soon disappears and is replaced by an image of Carol, Kamandi's cyber girlfriend. Kamandi thinks Mother Machine sent her to try to get him to stop, but she claims she sent herself. And since he's in the stupid virtual reality chair, they're now back in the beach simulation with its sky made of pink lemonade. And somewhere in that pink, Natalie Stack is battling terrorists. Carol tries to distract Kamandi by flashing her boobs like in the first issue, but Kamandi isn't buying it and admits he's already gotten into the operations matrix and disrupts the image of her.
Kamandi, this isn't right. I never hurt you. Kamandi, why are you killing me?
Don't be silly, Carol. You never lived. How can you be killed?
Wouldn't it be funny if Carol was an artificial intelligence and was just under Mother Machine's sway, and so Kamandi just committed wholesale murder of an intelligent being? And by funny, I mean I hate this comic!
Ben, Superman, I'm through the virtual reality interface.
Lawnmower Man 3, Kamandi's War. As Kamandi continues to tear apart Mother Machine's code, her visual representation falls apart,
but she's able to summon a giant monster. Ben Boxer says it's made of pure energy and that it seemed constructed of all the rage and murder of the 21st century. Yet it was so strangely voiceless, as if its hellish urge to scream was being smothered and redirected into its strength. Good! One less character to say annoying and stupid things! Superman engages the creature while Ben thinks they should withdraw, since it seems hopeless. Not hopeless, Ben! Nothing's hopeless! Well, how about hoping that the New 52 gets undone? I said nothing's hopeless, Ben. I didn't say it was realistic. Kamandi finally manages to breach Mother Machine's defenses and destroys the creature, reaching her brain core. Another virtual reality construct pops up, but now it's an older woman in robes who appears before Kamandi. Who are you? It's time you knew the truth, son. There's no such thing as Santa Claus at Earth's End. That doesn't count. Your father designed the machine. He was the chief engineer of the bunker system. To program such a complex machine using the old ways was impossible. He devised a new way.
It's a different kind of world. You need a different kind of software.
A real person would become the basis for the operating system of the machine. All the contents of a human brain could be ready by the computer. We called it Windows Brain Edition. What are you saying? I had an IQ of 192. I was perfect. And I was willing, because I loved him. What I didn't know, what he didn't tell me, was that the process would kill me.
Can this marriage be saved?
I'm your mother, Kamandi. I'm your real mother.
Mother Machine caused the second apocalypse 100 years ago! Unless Kamandi is actually 100 years old, I don't think that's the case!
Yes. My mind is in the machine. I have haunted the machine like a ghost. I became insane. You know the rest. Now then, why don't you ever call or come to visit me?
They hug, and I know I'm supposed to feel bad, but none of this makes sense, and I don't care anymore. Oh, right, I never cared to begin with.
The soul of the machine, my soul, has become numbers. Millions of numbers. Numbers which add up to nothing.
Lots of zeros in the computer, lots of zeros out of the computer. It's all the same, really. And so Machine Mother is gone and the world is saved. Yay. Kamandi and Saphira decide to stay on Earth in the ruins from the last two issues. Even the one called Sleeper Zom wanted to go home, so we fitted him with biomech legs.
Wait, what? Sleeper Zom is still alive? Bull crap!
Dude's legs were blown off and he was left lying in a pool of his own blood while the Sky City was under heavy fire! Although, looking at the guy, he seems to have lost a lot of his bulk. Maybe the blood loss just resulted in him deflating a bit. Bearded Idiot says his goodbyes to the group.
Come on, Superman. We've got work to do. I want to show you our plan for Gotham City.
And if you recall Superman at Earth's End, that plan was to nuke Gotham City. And so our comic ends with Kamandi and Saphira deciding to repopulate the human race. Oh yeah, the post-apocalyptic wastelands are a great place to raise a family, especially when Kamandi and Saphira are lucky to have just as much combined intellect as a single child. Sleeper Zom decides to take a car and go on adventures throughout the world. Fortunately, we were spared Sleeper Zom at Earth's End.
The humans, Kamandi and Saphira and Sleeper Zom, knew that destiny had thrust a great task upon them. They were the beginning of the future.
And as evidenced by both Sci-Spy and Kamandi at Earth's End, the future is dumb! This comic sucks! I'll give Kamandi at Earth's End credit that it's 1,000 times more interesting than Sci-Spy, but mostly in how laughable it reads. The dialogue is ridiculous, tedious, and insipid. The story itself is just a stretched-out road trip with a few stops that have no real effect on the characters or the plot. And speaking of the plot, the holes in it are large enough to drive the Sky City through.
Many people have commented that there's potential in the idea of Superman in a post-apocalyptic setting, but it sure as hell can't be found here. This was a story that nobody was asking for, with artwork that nobody was enjoying, and all of this spawned a sequel that was offensive to me as both a Superman fan and a fan of good comics. I started this whole thing wanting to know how Kamandi at Earth's End led to Superman at Earth's End. And I guess I fulfilled that wish. And now, thankfully, I never have to think about it ever again! Oh, just to add to the pointlessness of Kamandi and Saphira's destiny to repopulate the human race, we see that there are still normal humans in Superman at Earth's End. Welcome to Complete Waste of Time, the comic.